This was the last thing a man obsessed with anime and games ever expected. The moment he crossed into another world, he was immediately tied up and dragged away. At first, he thought, after receiving the blessings of 4 angels, he was the chosen hero destined to save the world. But when the real hero appeared, one casual strike from him sent Ash crashing back to his original form. And as a bonus, the man slapped a pair of silver handcuffs on him. Only then did he realize he had crossed over as the leader of an evil cult, inheriting a laundry list of crimes: kidnapping, murder, robbery, and more. Just days ago, he had died from overwork, only to wake up in this strange new world. The moment he opened his eyes, a massive group of black-robed figures was kneeling before him, bowing and chanting prayers. From their words, he learned he was the strongest existence in this world. Little did they know, behind his calm expression, he was already in full-blown panic. And to top it off, he had transmigrated into someone with the exact same name, only without the Heath at the end. Ash flexed his fingers and toes, testing out the body's functions. It felt exactly like the original, no difference at all. That made him wonder if he had crossed into a parallel version of himself. To keep things straight, he decided to give this body's original owner a nickname: Heath. But to Ash's dismay, Heath hadn't left him the most important thing: his memories. Now Ash had no idea what he was supposed to do. Those black-robed figures downstairs might be showing respect now, but one slip up and they could expose him instantly. Just then, the grand hall suddenly shook violently, and one of the black-robed men shouted a prayer for the Lord to descend. In an instant, 4 glowing orbs of different colors fell from the sky. Ash's body dropped to its knees without his control, and the next second, all 4 orbs shot straight toward him. The red orb spoke first. "I'm a lord of a billion lights. I grant you the angel of power, master of battle, courage, and honor, to sweep away all your enemies." Then the blue orb followed. "I am the sovereign of storms, rain, and snow. I grant you the angel of wisdom, master of strategy, change, and fate, to guide you toward every goal." Next came the green orb. "I am the eternal burning heart. I grant you the angel of life, master of vitality, equality, and sharing, so your health will never fade." Finally, the pink orb. "I'm the spirit of dreamlike freedom. I grant you the angel of joy, master of love, pleasure, and art, to bless you with unmatched charm." As their voices faded, Ash felt an overwhelming surge of power flood his body. His mind sharpened, and his mood soared. The corners of his mouth curled up. Who would have thought this random, inexplicable transmigration would turn out to be a jackpot? He was now the chosen savior of this world, protected by 4 divine beings and followed by an army of loyal believers. It was the perfect script: fight monsters, level up, save the world, marry the princess, and reach the peak of life. But before he could finish the thought, a deafening crash shook the ceiling above. At the very front, a black-robed follower cried out in panic, "Hero, the Blood-Mad Hunters have found us. Only you can drive them back." Ash let out a cold snort. Just from the name, he could tell these Blood-Mad Hunters were nothing more than cannon fodder XP pinatas. With a flourish, he drew the sword from his waist and declared proudly, "Where my blade points, none can stand. Let these Blood-Mad Hunters be the first souls claimed by my sword. Lead the way." But before anyone could move, a thunderous crash echoed through the hall. "No need to trouble yourselves. We'll come to you." Ash grinned with confidence. "Perfect. Let me show you what a scripted death looks like." In the next instant, all 4 angels blessed him at once. In that moment, Ash felt so powerful he could cleave the entire world in half with a single strike. He wondered, what should I name my very first move in this world? Crescent Moon Slash? Or Flying Thunder God Cut? Nah, better keep it low-key. With that, he unleashed what seemed like a simple sword swing. A surge of devastating sword energy shot forward, tearing straight toward the nearest Blood-Mad Hunter. So this is void-splitting sword chi? Feels powerful, Ash thought smugly. But the next moment, the Blood-Mad Hunter let out a mocking chuckle. That's it. With a twisted grin, he swung his blade, instantly transforming it into a chain sword several meters long, and unleashed a blood-red slash stretching across the hall. Ash's sword energy was devoured instantly, his defensive barrier shredded like wet paper. The entire underground hall split apart with a massive crack from that single strike, and even the ground beneath his feet gave way. Watching his attack crumble so easily, Ash was dumbfounded. How was this possible? Even the four angels were knocked back to their original forms by the sheer force of the blow. The angel of power became a vicious mantis. The angel of wisdom rotted into a giant fly. The angel of life melted into a pale maggot. And the most pitiful of all, the angel of joy turned into a nauseating cloud of stench. The next instant, Ash slammed hard into the wall. The searing pain in his chest jolted him awake. He was just a clueless newcomer to this world. What made him think he could act so arrogantly out of nowhere? Getting dragged into a war that had nothing to do with him. This wasn't something a seasoned corporate grunt like him would ever do. As Ash stood there in a daze, the battle in the underground hall was already over. The black-robed followers were no match for the blood-mad hunters and were wiped out in the blink of an eye. The leader stepped forward and announced, "I am Gerard Westminster, a blood-mad hunter from the Tribunal of Sin. You are suspected of involvement in 4 cases of cult propagation, as well as multiple kidnappings, murders, and robberies." He then pulled out a scroll and unrolled it in front of Ash. "This is an arrest warrant issued by the Tribunal of Sin in Kaimon City. If you have objections to our enforcement, you can file a complaint at the Kaimon branch or write directly to the mayor's office. And by the way, kid, you've got guts. Owning 4 tier, 2 chaos treants, and they're not even yours, yet you dare face me, 3-winger. So here's a little reward, an exquisite pair of silver handcuffs." And just like that, on his very first day, Ash had already contributed to this beautiful city, because that day he got arrested. "Your name is Ash Heath. Age? No idea. I have amnesia. Gender? Hang on L. Race? Pretty sure I'm not a dog." Outside the interrogation room, Amy watched Ash through the two-way mirror, her pupils narrowing into slits as his nonchalant attitude drove her up the wall. A man standing nearby said, "Captain, is this guy treating the Tribunal of Sin like a joke? Questioning him like this is useless. Let me handle it. I learned interrogation from a priest back in school and even got a level 1 interrogator's license. I swear in the name of the priesthood, I can make this guy confess to wetting the bed as a kid." Gerard replied flatly, "Burn the license. You think the Human Rights Act is just decoration? If Ash Heath loses sleep tonight, we're the ones who will be in trouble." Amy, both furious and frustrated, clicked her tongue. "Then what about a memory mage? We've had him here for so long. Why hasn't anyone extracted this criminal's memories yet?" Gerard's tone remained cold. "The memory mage won't come. He's different. He's seen the 4 pillar gods." Amy froze at the words. Gerard continued, "Not just him. No cultist's memory can be extracted. Memory corruption is the 4 pillar god's specialty. 134 years ago, I handled a cult case involving the 4 pillar gods. The memory mage who probed a believer's mind ended up unknowingly becoming a follower himself. That's why this cult can never be truly wiped out." Amy was dumbfounded. Then what? No evidence, no torture, no memory extraction. Do we just let him go? Or are we talking special measures? Gerard said coldly, "No special measures needed. There's a type of execution reserved for criminals this heinous. This interrogation is just procedure. The real trial will be held at 8 p.m. on the 15th by the entire city." Realization dawned on Amy, and she flicked her tail. Turning away, she said, "Then I'll leave it to you." Gerard was still watching Ash from behind the glass. By law, interrogations over 15 minutes required a break for the suspect, something that actually made him breathe easier. Holding a cup of water, Ash's fingers instinctively touched the fully healed wound on his chest, his heart a mix of surprise and unease. Gerard studied his every move in silence. Everything about Ash's reactions seemed genuine, like he really was just an amnesiac ordinary man. Under the laws of this world, patients with depression can be exempt from punishment. But to prove memory loss, we'd have to extract his memories. Forget it. Let's move on to the next arrest. His trial will be the people's business. Inside the cell, Ash's heart felt as heavy as lead. He had thought he was the chosen hero destined to save the world. Instead, he'd become a cult leader looking to start a business, and was being hunted by swarms of heroes treating him like an XP mob. They'd definitely execute him. Sure, their questioning was polite, and the room came with free meals and lodging. But thinking about it, with how advanced this world seemed and how nice the cells were, maybe they'd already abolished the death penalty. Just as he was quietly celebrating that thought, a sudden heat flared on the back of his neck. The next moment, a glowing screen appeared before his eyes. "Dear Ash Heath, the Haimeng City Council cordially invites you to be a special guest for the Blood Moon Judgment at 8 p.m. on the 15th of this month. Please mind your appearance. We will send someone to escort you to the live broadcast site. To withdraw from the program, reply TC." The moment he saw the name, Ash knew it was bad news. He immediately typed TC into the keyboard and hit send without hesitation. "Apologies. You are currently under arrest and interrogation. Messaging functions are disabled." Ash couldn't help but snap. That last line, was that just to mess with me? With a shrug, he completely gave up. So this glowing screen was basically this world's smartphone. He'd thought it was some cheat from transmigrating. Turns out it was just a standard issue gadget. Then, something caught his eye, a familiar app icon, Aurora's Magus Manual. Wait, how did this thing cross over with me? Aurora was the company he'd worked for in his original world. This app was the game his team had tasked him with operating. He just downloaded the demo back then, planning to test it out, but before he could play, he'd been yanked into this world. And now, somehow, the mobile game had come with him. It had even auto-installed into his mind's HUD. Could this be my transmigration cheat? Ash's pulse quickened. Bring me a miracle. Aurora's Magus Manual. Launch. But the next instant, the entire screen turned blood red. He froze, right? He'd forgotten he was still under a network ban. Just as despair set in, the screen chimed with a bright ding. No way. The system's back online, and the game had actually booted up. But to Ash's surprise, the only functions in the entire game that actually worked were the gacha system and the microtransaction store. He tapped one experimentally, and sure enough, it only opened the recharge screen. Ash slammed the glowing screen onto the floor and cursed, "A demo build for internal testing. And you actually put a cash shop in it? What? Try to take back our salaries." He opened another menu, stared for a second, then burst out, "Seriously? Even the first summon costs money? Who the hell came up with this shameless idea?" Then he paused. "All right, my company did. Never mind then." Just then, the screen on the floor chimed twice. "Sign in, system restored. Congratulations, you've successfully signed in. Reward, 1 source crystal. As a first-time bonus, you've received a 10-draw operator voucher. Every 10 draws guarantees 1 operator." Ash tilted his head. "Operators, huh? Can they actually fight for me? Whatever, guess it's worth a shot." He was about to hit the summon button when a thought struck him, making him freeze mid-motion. Pressing his hands together, he prayed solemnly, "O spirits of the earth, hear my plea. Mother Earth, bless me. God Almighty, amen." Ash breathed on his fingertips for luck, then decisively hit the recruit button, praying like mad to pull an operator who could change his fate. The results: 2 stamina potions, 2 EXP potions, a Mad Blade Sword Maiden, beginner combat card, and a training wooden sword. Ash's eyes lit up. Finally, a decent pull. He quickly opened the Sword Maiden stats page, only to scoff. Seriously? All that text? And she's just a vanilla pretty girl? Where's the Mad Blade part supposed to be? With a scowl, he slammed the screen down again. "Fine, weak characters I can accept, but you mean I can't even summon her into the real world to fight for me? Then what's the point? I'm going to be on the execution block in a few days, part of some executioner's KPI. What? You want me to spend my last days logging in daily to boost your trash games metrics? Your starter unit can't even fight right away. How's a player supposed to feel hyped with design like this? I could be the lead dev myself." Mid-rant, he noticed a little red dot on the operator management tab. His inner OCD kicked in, and he tapped it immediately. To his surprise, besides the Sword Maiden, he had another operator, /Apocalypse, End Watcher, and this one looked exactly like him, right down to the outfit he'd been wearing before. Then he spotted a 30% EXP contribution note on the Sword Maiden's profile. If his guess was right, training the Sword Maiden in-game would make him stronger in reality. This could be his 1 ticket out of prison. Good thing I just pulled a bunch of training items. Ash muttered, didn't expect this training system to be so considerate. The happier an operator is, the better the training results. He sighed, but come on, I'm a dead man walking. Where am I going to find time to babysit a 2D girl's mood? Ash immediately set up a full week's training regimen for the Mad Blade Sword Maiden. Then he ordered, "Work hard for me, Sword Maiden." Just then, the system popped up a prompt. Activate the innate talent of /Apocalypse. End Watcher to register the Mad Blade Sword Maiden into the Magus Manual. This action is irreversible. Ash agreed without hesitation, and lines of code began streaming across the glowing screen. That should do it. Before he knew it, his eyes grew heavy, and he drifted into sleep. Meanwhile, 3 hours away from Ash's location, a young woman who had gone to bed early after her skincare routine suddenly found herself waking up inside her dream. She stood on a small, unfamiliar island. Looking around, she noticed behind her a corpse with a sword driven through its chest, strangely, with no signs of decay. She scooped a handful of seawater and tasted it. Sweet. So this really was a dream. But why would a dream contain a corpse she had never seen before? She stepped closer for a better look. Pulling the sword from the chest, she gasped, "This blade, it's perfect. It's like it was made just for me." She expected the body to collapse, yet it began to move. Startled, she gripped the sword tightly. "What are you?" "I am /Apocalypse, End Watcher. You may call me End Watcher. But don't worry, I'm not your enemy." He paused, then added coldly, "I'm just going to kill you." Her stance tightened. "What do you want?" End Watcher lowered into a ready position, hand on the hilt. "For the next 72 hours, you can only leave this place if you defeat me. Otherwise, you'll remain here for the full 72 hours. Before she could respond, his blade was already swinging toward her. In a blur, she was back at the place she first arrived. Touching her neck, she muttered, "What just happened? It felt like my neck was cut, but isn't this a dream?" End Watcher smirked. "The only difference between dream and reality is this. Reality is a dream woven by everyone, while a dream is a prison you build for yourself. And your 10-second rest is over." In the next moment, she was pulled right back to the starting point. End Watcher smirked. "You'd better hold that sword tight. Only then might you die with a shred of dignity." But Sonya wasn't buying it. She spun around and dove straight into the sea. "Let's see you try cutting the ocean in half," she thought. End Watcher's voice followed, calm and cutting. "Running away is shameful and useless." That's when Sonya froze. She had never learned to swim. "Wait, what? This is a dream, so why am I suffocating?" The moment she broke the surface, gasping for air, End Watcher hurled his sword without hesitation. Sonya still clung to hope. "I'm just grabbing a breath for a second or two. He won't even notice." Splash! She was instantly yanked back to the starting point. Reaching up, she touched her chin. Still there. "So he stabbed it off last time." She glared at End Watcher. He sneered. "So, you were hoping to see me unarmed? After all these deaths, you're still this naive?" Sonya snapped. "End Watcher, you're completely unreasonable." Just when he thought she was finally ready to fight seriously, she dropped to her knees and hugged his leg. "Oh great, merciful, and noble unknown master. Sonya will follow you. Please stop tormenting me. I'll be obedient. I'll do whatever you say." End Watcher's grin turned wicked. "Anything at all." Sonya blushed and nodded. "Good. Then I order you, defeat me." In an instant, she was sent right back to the starting point. Humiliated, Sonya stomped her foot. "Seriously? I've done nothing to you. Why waste your time on a nobody like me? There are plenty of truly evil people in this world. If you want to punish wrongdoers, I can recommend a few. And if you're the villain, I can even point you to some high-ranking, hypocritical big shots. I'm just an ordinary college girl. Hardly worth all this effort from you." Sonya spread her hands with a resigned look. "Whatever you want me to do, just say it. I'm like a rose meant to be trampled, born to drift with the current." End Watcher's eyes narrowed. "How can you be sure you haven't wronged me before?" In the blink of an eye, Sonya was back at the starting point again. "So, if I survive for 72 hours, I get to leave this damn dream?" she asked. "Yes," End Watcher replied. "But there's no clock here. Compared to a lifetime, 72 hours isn't long. But in death, it's an eternity. Can you really endure constant death for that long? And why do you believe what I say is true? Even if you escape tonight, what about tomorrow night? Or the night after?" He shifted into a sheathing stance. "Once you've tasted death, you should know better than to expect miracles. Yet instead of reviving, Sonya, raised her sword and blocked Endwatcher's strike. "You've left me no choice, Endwatcher," she shouted. The next second, she was sent back to the starting point. Closing her eyes, she racked her brain to recall every detail of their battles, and soon realized Endwatcher had no supernatural powers. Even physically, he didn't outmatch her. She'd heard that a swordsman who'd reached the peak could make an onlooker's skin prickle with just a casual swing. Their grip on the hilt alone could make the weak submit. Compared to those true giants, Endwatcher was merely a very skilled swordsman. Yet when she saw his wounds close instantly, Sonya sneered. "Oh, so it really is a fair duel." The moment her 10-second respite ended, Sonya launched the first strike. She had long noticed that in the very first second of every bout, Endwatcher would place his hand on the hilt, preparing to gather power. That power was immense, but if she attacked first, his opening move would lose its edge. Through countless blocks and counterattacks, she finally spotted a flaw in his defense. Endwatcher barely reacted in time, narrowly avoiding a fatal sword slash. He immediately countered, striking at her blind spot. But Sonya only let out a cold snort. Her feet shifted in a strange, flowing pattern, slipping cleanly past his strike. "Didn't see that coming, did you, Endwatcher? I've been waiting for this moment." She shifted into a sheathing stance, smirking. "After dying this many times, even a pig would have learned your moves by now." With a sharp cry, Sonya stepped in, spun forward, and slashed in one fluid motion. "Your reed, your eye, take them back." The blade cut clean across Endwatcher's chest. But in the blink of an eye, the wound was gone. Sonya asked cautiously, "Does that count as defeating you?" Endwatcher answered calmly, "Yes." Relief flashed across her face. But then he added, "Of course, that was only me with one sword." He drew a second blade, crossing both before his chest. "First half's over. Second half begins. And this time, there's no 10-second rest." In a daze, Sonya opened her eyes to someone calling her. "Sonya, Sonya, we got an early class today. Aren't you coming?" She rubbed her temples and sat up, finding only Ingrid left in the dorm. "What time is it?" 7:30. "What's with you today? Normally you're up an hour early doing makeup." Looking weary, Sonya murmured, "Maybe I had a nightmare." Ingrid waved it off. "Nightmares fade fast. Hurry to class or you'll lose points." Then she left the room. Sonya sat there for a moment, then got up, washing and doing her makeup in one swift routine. In the classroom, her mind drifted back to the night before. Aren't nightmares supposed to fade? Why can I remember it so clearly? And as the image of striking the dual-bladed Endwatcher replayed in her mind, her trial had finally come to an end. But Endwatcher's parting words made Sonya's blood run cold. "This trial is over, but your life is only just beginning." That was definitely no blessing. Her expression hardened. "Apocalypse Endwatcher, I, Sonya, will never let you control my life. I've only just gotten it back on track." Meanwhile, in a luxury suite on the prison's lowest floor, Ash groaned, rubbing his forehead. "What the hell? I feel even more tired after sleeping like I just got beaten up." Then he spotted a familiar red dot on his mobile game interface. His OCD couldn't ignore it. Without hesitation, he tapped it. The Mad Blade Sword Maiden appeared on screen, practically bouncing with joy. "Congratulations on completing the trial. Your bond with the Mad Blade Sword Maiden has deepened." Ash blinked. "Wait, just sending her into a trial increases our bond? That's a thing." He grinned smugly. "Huh, good thing I set it up early. Now stick to the plan and keep training, Sword Maiden." At that exact moment in class, Sonya felt a strange pang in her chest. But she calmly answered the teacher's question. Before a Magus enters the Void Realm, they must first summon at least one spirit. Only through the spirit can they open the gate of truth and step into the realm. Sonya Servi was born in one of the poorest, most remote villages of the Star Nation. For her to study at this prestigious noble academy was only possible thanks to the government-issued miracle bracelet. She blazed through all the basic courses stored in the bracelet, becoming the first in 20 years from her hometown to enter Swordflower University. When she first arrived, she faced her share of cold stares and mockery, but she quickly mastered makeup and fashion, and within a month, shed her heavy rural accent, never once slacking in her studies. She could be seen in almost every campus event, and her repeated stints as host made her a rising star. soon becoming the popular favorite to be the 67th Swordflower. She lived by one belief: if so many in this world could find happiness, why couldn't she? After class, Sonia hurried to the school gate, where she spotted her mother standing under the blazing sun. "Mom, why are you just standing out here? Couldn't you find a tree for shade?" Her mother smiled. "I didn't want you to miss me, Linda. I've told you so many times, I'm Sonia, not Linda." Sorry, I forgot again." Sonia grabbed her mother's hand and headed for the train. "Since you've come all the way to Gallus, I have to take you to see the capital." But her mother waved it off. "On my way here, I saw a park nearby. No need to waste the money." Sonia ignored her and gently pushed her onto the train. Yes, she had changed her name simply because here, even a random waiter might be called Linda. The first time Sonia came to Gallus, she was mesmerized by its clean streets and towering buildings. This was a place of polite, well-mannered citizens and massive LED screens that played promotional clips day and night. From that moment, she vowed, even if she were to die, she wanted to die in this city. And getting here at all was thanks entirely to her mother. Her father had been a drunken, short-tempered wreck who drank himself to death when she was still a child. Her mother raised her alone, and it was her mother's tireless work that allowed Sonia to focus on her studies. Most kids in her village started working in factories during the day, and at night could only watch the single channel they received, Meteor Channel. And so they drifted through life, never leaving that small town. Now, Sonia not only had a scholarship, but also earned extra from part-time work, and she was determined to let her mother enjoy the happiness this city could offer. Time flew, and soon it was time to part. Your return ticket is already linked to your bracelet. Just scan it at the gate. Watching her mother's back as she prepared to leave, Sonia felt a pang of reluctance. She quickly caught up. "Mom, why not stay another day? I don't have class tomorrow. I can spend it with you." Her mother turned, smiling warmly as she took Sonia's hand. "This is your time now. Whatever happens, I'll be at home, ready with a hot meal. Big cities are too complicated. It's fine to just live peacefully back home." Then she slipped a small pouch into Sonia's hand. "Almost forgot. There's a little money in here. It's not much, but I don't need it. You keep it." With that, she headed for the train. "Don't worry about me. If anything happens, the neighbors will help. Just write letters back. Oh, and don't send money. Keep it for yourself. The post office might lose it." Sonia tucked the pouch away with a sigh. "You're right, Mom. Big cities are complicated." In the next instant, she caught a pickpocket's wrist and twisted it until it snapped. Leaving him stunned, she walked out of the station. Gazing at the bustling streets, she smirked. But Sonia is exactly that kind of complicated. That night, when Sonia returned to campus, the main gate was already shut. She hurried to explain to the guard. There was a traffic accident. The tram stopped for over half an hour. I ran the whole way back. I'm so scared. If I'm late 3 times, I'll have to take the Thorns punishment. 3 times means expulsion." With her soft, pitiful plea, the guard eventually unlocked the gate and let her in. Sonia had always known beauty could earn favors, but it wasn't until she came to Gallus that she realized its power here was far greater. Compared to her poor village, the city's civilized folk were much more willing to grant conveniences for a pretty face. She was genuinely grateful to the Star Law Lord for making the Star Nation so prosperous and refined, giving her a chance to squeeze into high society. If she'd been born in a barbaric country, she might have been snatched away as some brute's trophy long ago. She also thanked her mother. Had she worked the field from childhood, even her natural beauty would have been weathered into a coarse village girl. As she neared her dorm room, she overheard voices inside. "It's past 7. That stray probably isn't coming back tonight." Finally dropped the act, but she's hooked up with some rich sugar daddy. Sonia stopped at the door, thinking, right on cue for the classic roommate friendship breakup, trash talk edition. You didn't see her in class, flirting with guys. A country mutt like her. Other than her face, what's so great about her? Oh, and Diffley said she saw Sonia leaving campus at noon to talk to some peasant woman. Bet that was her mother. Figures, trash daughter, trash mom. Mid-gossip, Sonia suddenly pushed the door open. The 2 girls inside nearly jumped out of their skins. One was her roommate, Lois. The other, Adele, Lois's tag-along. These 2 were the ones she clashed with most. Lois, the local merchant's daughter, had always looked down on Sonia, flaunting her own looks and making veiled jabs at Sonya's humble origins. But no matter what Lois said, whenever they appeared together, the number of guys gravitating towards Sonya was noticeably higher. She simply outshone her. And when Sonya snagged the role of host at a campus event, Lois dropped all pretense. That's when she started throwing money around, frequently organizing social events for the water arts department, paying for fancy restaurant outings, but always making sure not to invite Sonya. As a result, more guys started chasing Lois, but her taste was questionable. Take the senior she claimed she'd finally fallen for. He only had a brief run-in with Sonya, and the guy instantly fell head over heels and confessed to Sonya. Sonya turned him down on the spot. If even a stray mutt wouldn't want him, why would she? She doesn't have time for romance. Her goal is Gallus, and she's staying here. But she's just a country girl who tested in. Making it on her own could take decades. So she'll find a good man, a shortcut into high society. Her plan is crystal clear: become a water magus. She's done the research. Over 50% of noble wives are water magi. If the husband's a magus too, it jumps past 70%. Water magi are a massive plus in noble matchmaking. Swordflower University isn't the absolute top, but it's elite at training sword, water, and wind magi. Graduate from any of those 3 tracks, and your future's set. Mom, she's a Swordflower graduate and a water magus. Perfect. That's exactly the kind of daughter-in-law we need. By the way, water magi often become healers thanks to their recovery spells. Wind magi usually end up weather magi, working outdoors in harsh conditions. And sword magi, being overly brawny, tend to be a minus for women. That's why Sonya's milestones are fixed. Summon her first water spirit by next year, and, ideally before graduation, unfurl the silver wing and reach 1 wing rank. Next, she planned to find a way into Gallus's Truth Magus University events, her best chance to hook a noble heir. Truth University wasn't just Gallus's top mage academy. It was the most prestigious school in the entire Star Realm, filled with the rich and powerful. That was where Sonya's future boyfriend would be. The boys at Swordflower? Not worth a glance. If all went well, she'd marry into the aristocracy, use her husband's connections to build her own fortune, and even after a divorce, still have enough to stand tall in Gallus and bring her mother over to live like nobility. But just as Sonya was lost in her perfect daydream, a cold voice cut in, "No, you need to train with the sword." It was the End Observer. His tone was icy. "If I were you, I'd first check how others are reacting. If you want to speak to me, just think it in your head." Sonya glanced around. The other girls in the dorm hadn't noticed him at all. A chill ran down her spine. "Who exactly are you?" "I am the final observer. You may simply call me the Observer." If you're already this forgetful at your age, maybe it's time to rein yourself in and stop chasing distractions. Relax, Sword Maiden. I'm not your enemy. I'm nothing more than a distant fragment of longing, and not even a complete person anymore. Enough chit-chat. Let's get back to business. The End Watcher conjured a vial of potion out of thin air. "First, you're going to drink this." Sonya instantly shook her head. "Are you kidding me? No way." Before she could react, he had already poured it out. She felt the liquid surge straight into her body. Then, the End Watcher produced a wooden sword and gestured toward her. "Now, you feel like training with the sword, don't you?" Sonya clenched her teeth, resisting the strange urge. "No," she replied firmly. But in the end, she couldn't fight it. She picked up the wooden sword and walked out of the dorm room. Inside the sword training hall, Mogulite was in the middle of her drills. She was already panting heavily from exhaustion. Glancing at her progress, she beamed, almost at the edge of the 9th ring. At this pace, she'd reach the 10th ring within the month and summon her blade spirit. Just then, Sonya stepped into the hall, wooden sword in hand. All eyes immediately turned toward her. Someone whispered in surprise, "This isn't where you belong. Aren't you a water type?" Without answering, Sonya thrust her sword straight into the target dummy. Mogulite's eyes narrowed. "Your main hand's unstable, your offhand's weak, your footwork sloppy, and your body sluggish. Nothing about that form is acceptable. A female swordcaster who wants to summon a spirit and master her arts needs a body trained even harder than most men. You'll need calluses on your hands, hardened arms and legs, and a strong core. Sonya, are you ready for that?" She added with a sly tone, "Your chances with men will drop." "Oh, is this about a man?" Don't tell me him. Felix Voslota, first-year sword prodigy, heir to one of the Starlight Nation's top noble houses, and son of one of the 5 pillars of the Starlight Council. He should have been at the elite Truth University, yet for some reason chose Swordflower University. His father, the Duke of Voslota, known as the Star Forger, controlled the nation's most advanced steelworks, with influence stretching across the military, commerce, and politics. One of the most powerful men in the entire country. But that guy's a total playboy. I've seen it myself, 5 days in a row, and every day a different girl came looking for him at the training grounds. And didn't you say he's dangerous? Mogulite thought for a moment. Well, if it makes you fall in love with swordsmanship, then I guess it's not all bad. Yes, another friend who loves swordsmanship. Then she noticed something unbelievable. Wait, she's already touching the edge of the first ring. It's only been a few minutes. Did Sonya train before? Looking closer, her movements were still rough, every swing draining all her strength, sweat dripping nonstop. But every strike perfectly followed the standards from the swordsmanship manual. At this pace, she should collapse in a few more minutes. It's impossible to train effectively like this. Mogulite felt a chill. She'd tried before. Her record was 256 swings in 11 minutes. The crowd grew more shocked the longer they counted. 96 minutes had passed. Anyone know how many swings now? Someone who'd been counting since the start spoke up. She was at 1,700 swings when her blade hit the 7th ring. I lost track for a bit, but now she's around 2,400. Just then, Celia walked in, Felix's upperclassman and girlfriend. She thought the noise was from her boyfriend. Could it be that Felix had finally summoned his Waveblade spirit? She was already thinking, should they celebrate at Amberfield Club, Golden Harbor Bar, or just head back to his place for some quality time? But to her surprise, Felix Intel was also standing there, watching. He was sweating, eyes locked on Sonya. Celia walked over and asked, "What are you all staring at? Why so tense?" Felix muttered, "Didn't even know our swordsmanship department had such a beautiful junior." Celia sneered inwardly. This girl might look barefaced, but she was clearly wearing a flawless First Love makeup look designed to hit every single male weakness. With a face like that, her target could only be Felix. No way she's stealing my man. Celia quickly wrapped her arm around Felix's and smiled. "So, you're all watching her train just because she's pretty?" Felix explained, "Since you're not a swordsmanship student, I'll make it simple. An hour and a half ago, she was a total newbie who couldn't even hold a sword properly. Now, she can cut into the 9th ring in a single strike." Celia's eyes widened. "What? She's faking it, right? I trained for months, and even at above average skill, I only reached the 2nd ring." Felix couldn't believe it either, but he'd seen everything. He'd been waiting for her to hit a wall, but after an hour and a half, his jealousy had turned into pure admiration. He actually spoke with such humility and sincerity. Celia was even more stunned. Normally, Felix looked down on his own father and brother. Yet here he was staring at a girl for a full hour and a half. That was an extremely dangerous sign. And that girl, the hunter named Sonya, had been training nonstop for the entire 90 minutes. Not even a single break. Most people would need to rest after just a few minutes of practice. Even someone hailed as a genius like Felix could only last about 3 hours, and that included breaks to relax in between. No wonder this group of guys, who only knew how to brute force their training, had been utterly crushed. Celia's heart sank to the bottom. If she, the elegant and intellectual senior, scored 80 points in Felix's heart, then Sonya, the genius swordswoman beauty, was a perfect 150. She had virtually no chance of winning. Just then, Sonya's blade struck dead center, 10 points. Everyone froze in stunned silence. Sonya snapped out of her trance, realizing what she had just done. She'd landed a perfect strike. Even if she did nothing else from this point on, once the moment came, she could trigger a resonance with the knowledge of the Ether Realm, summon a sword technique spirit, step into the Ether Realm, and become a winged Ether Mage. A dream of living the rest of her life without worrying about food or money. Was it really about to come true just like that? At Swordflower University, not everyone could become a mage. The graduation rate hovered around 50%, and every winged Ether Mage who did graduate had a dazzling future ahead. At that moment, Sonya's eyes narrowed. She'd just heard the voice of the observer. She immediately looked toward Felix. A strange sight appeared. An empty potion bottle floated above his shoulder, visible only to her. The next second, the observer's shadowy figure emerged behind Felix. His voice was cold and detached. "Sword Maiden, you can't rest yet. You need to defeat this man." Sonia's face darkened. She accused the observer of exploiting her. The observer was unfazed. "It's not as complicated as you think. I'm simply arranging a fight for you, and the strongest person here happens to be him. That's all. Whether he's a noble or not doesn't matter." Then he smirked. "Of course, if he is a noble, that's even better. I love watching nobles get beaten down. If you win, maybe step on his face or smack his butt. I've heard some starborn nobles are real perverts." Sonia frowned. "Can't you pick someone else? I don't want anything to do with Felix." The observer tilted his head, looking puzzled. Sonia had studied him before. This guy was strange and dangerous. As for Felix Vaslota, one of the easiest noble heirs to approach at Swordflower University, she had naturally listed him as a potential target. His playboy reputation wasn't the real problem. The real problem was his family background and his notorious ex-girlfriend club. Rumor had it Felix was basically a 10 girls a day, walking reproduction machine. Yet, he'd never once taken a girlfriend to stay the night. He lived in a villa off campus, leaving immediately after evening training, always driving his one-of-a-kind silver Gallop Tiger, the only one of its kind in school. He swapped girlfriends at the rate of one every 3 days, yet never brought any home. Sonia refused to believe he could finish the job in just 3 days, which led to her conclusion. Felix wasn't a lust-driven pervert, but more of a collector, stamping girlfriends like they were part of a bizarre hobby. And the fact that the son of Duke Vaslota ended up studying here, it was hard not to suspect he'd been caught up in some political power struggle. That's how it always goes in the novels. A guy like him would be the archetypal noble villain, someone you absolutely don't want to get involved with. The observer raised a brow. "So, you're saying if I make you fight him, you're likely to get into trouble?" Sonia nodded firmly, confirming his words without hesitation. But the very next thing the observer said turned her to stone on the spot. "This is perfect. I want you to cause trouble. I want you to go all out, stay in the spotlight, and crush every enemy who dares to stand in your way. Isn't that exactly what you've always wanted?" Sonia was on the verge of tears. When had she ever wished for something that childish and arrogant? Before she could protest, the observer cut her off. "Then I wish you victory in your first battle. Smash the swordsmanship prodigy and kick a starborn noble while you're at it." Sonia immediately raised her sword, pointing it straight at Felix. Felix Vaslota, the genius of the swordsmanship department. In all of Swordflower University, you're the only one worthy to serve as the stepping stone for my spirit summon. Do you dare face me in battle? The crowd erupted. "Whoa, that's awesome. Is this the pride of a true genius? She's throwing down the gauntlet. A challenge." Celia's heart sank. Of course, Sonia's target was Felix too, and she'd used the oldest, yet most effective, trick in the book to get tied to him. Meanwhile, Ingrid tried to intervene. "Nia, you've been training for 2 hours straight. Even if you're going to duel, at least wait until tomorrow." But Felix shook his head. "No, it's happening now. 2 hours, 3,600 strikes. From a beginner's stance to sword mastery. You're the most gifted person I've ever seen, and only the second one who's ever made me feel fear. If I don't accept your challenge now, by the time I wake up tomorrow, I might not even have the courage to draw my sword in front of you. This might be my only chance to beat you. Even if people say I'm taking advantage of your exhaustion, I don't care. If I can defeat you tonight, at least I'll still have the right and the courage to chase after your shadow." The Vaslota family was famed for its swordsmanship, with 4 secret stances capable of summoning a spirit. The wave stance was one of them. In the sword arts, a stance was not just a training method, but also a summoning ritual and a combat technique. Suddenly, Sonia realized her body was no longer under her control. She protested. "What's the point of fighting if you're the one controlling me? Even if I win, it's really you who won. I'd just be a bystander. If all you want is to puppeteer me, go ahead. It's not like I can fight back. But how about this? Give me back control, and I promise I'll fight. If one opponent isn't enough, I'll take on 2. How about that?" The observer gave a faint smile. "And who told you I was the one controlling your body? Did you really think I just picked a random opponent for you? Did you really think I could ignore your will and force your body to move? You know you have a chance to gain power right now, and you know you've already wasted far too much time. That's why you came here, pushing yourself until every last drop of strength is gone, just so others would notice. Just so your roommate, Ingrid, would notice. You have more than just your looks. You have talent worth being proud of. So why challenge Felix? Because from the very first moment you saw him, you hated him. From the moment you saw him driving his silver Gallop Tiger through the campus road, basking in the crowd's admiration. From the moment you saw him become the center of attention, you were already jealous of him, envious of him, and you hated him. In his eyes, you were just a rookie who only knew the basic forms from the swordsmanship manual, even if your talent surpassed his. His wave stance could still hold the advantage, the wave stance of a noble family. The fight grew fiercer. Rage boiled inside Sonya. Why are they born with everything? Why do they get to be better than me in every way? Felix was barely holding his ground, stunned. She's still matching me blow for blow. Where is she getting the stamina? In an instant, his aura surged. He prepared to unleash his strongest strike, to end the match in a single blow. The observer stood among the crowd, watching Sonya with satisfaction. Now you understand, Sword Maiden. All of this comes from your own heart. It was you who gripped the wooden sword. You who stepped onto the training ground. You who wanted to defeat him. You who wanted to prove Sonya Servi is no less than anyone. Sonya took her stance, and Felix's eyes widened. Wave stance? The crowd exploded. Wave stance. There's no way she learned it just by watching. She's provoking him. This is insane. Celia's jealousy burned. A huntress this skilled? Using this kind of challenge to humiliate Felix. He'll never be able to forget you. And if you lose after this, you'll hand him the perfect excuse to agree to future duels. More chances to get close to him. Felix roared. Sonya, you're bringing this humiliation on yourself. I'm not inferior to anyone. The very next moment, their blades clashed fiercely. Sonya's wooden sword snapped in two. All eyes shot to Felix's shoulder. That was a spirit. Slowly, a spirit emerged above his shoulder. The wave sword spirit. A breakthrough mid-battle. Someone had actually summoned their life-bound spirit in the heat of combat. Truly worthy of the Voslota name. Mogrit called out loudly. Don't lose heart, Sonya. You'll summon your spirit soon enough. Then you can. But Sonya calmly said, I haven't lost. Two swordsmanship students whispered, still talking tough, kind of cute though. Geniuses just can't let go of their pride. The next instant, Felix's wooden sword also splintered apart. Gasps swept through the crowd. A spirit identical to Felix's had appeared on Sonya's shoulder. The place erupted. She summoned the Voslota family's wave sword spirit too? Don't tell me she mastered Felix's wave stance mid-fight and summoned it on the spot? That's impossible. If that was true, she had jumped from swordsmanship apprentice to swordmaster in just a few hours, achieving in one night what took others years to reach. In the crowd, the observer smiled in satisfaction. Sonya finally realized the observer was nothing more than a manifestation of her own mind. You're just my inner voice? Just my hallucination? His figure began to fade away. Just before vanishing completely, he made a hand gesture and said, Take a guess. Sonya cursed him silently in her heart. At that moment, the system chimed, /mad sword maiden leveled up. New skill acquired. Wave sword. Ash nearly jumped for joy. Oh yes, leveled up. I don't even know what a one-wing swordmaster is, but that guy who cut me down earlier had 3 wings. So wings must mean big deal extraordinary. He allowed a long breath. Getting up at 6 to check his training progress had been worth it. Hard work really did pay off. But where was that promised 30% shared recovery EXP? Ash didn't feel any stronger at all. No sudden surge of power, no mind-blowing rush, no instant skill upload. The /terminal observer operator interface hadn't changed a bit either. Could he have been scammed? Maybe it was because he hadn't spent any money. After all, his family's company was infamous for making games where if you don't pay, you don't play. Just then, a light flared at the back of Ash's neck. Dear Ash Heath, your life certification for Smashed Lake Prison is now complete. You may move freely within designated areas. Please see the attached Smashed Lake Prison Inmate Guide for details. Note: meal delivery will no longer be provided. Please proceed to the cafeteria for dining. Hearing this, he saw the prison gate actually open. What was going on? He quickly flipped open the inmate guide. Free activity hours, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. accessible areas. Central Hall, reading room, gym, media room, Ocean View Terrace, couples room, supplies provided. Workshop, cafeteria hours. Breakfast 7 to 9 a.m. Lunch 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dinner 5 to 8 p.m. outside of these times. Meal ordering service is available. Reading room, report missing books to the administrator. Replacements will arrive within 3 working days. Media room. Only programs legally purchased from official channels are available. Currently screening movies will be provided only after theatrical release. Ends. Couples room. Place used items in a recycle bin. Do not wash and return them yourself. This level of freedom was suspicious. Could be some prank message to mess with new inmates. If something feels this off, there's always a catch, and Ash wasn't about to fall for it. But while he was mulling it over, his stomach let out a loud growl. He was hungry. After a moment's thought, he decided to grab a quick meal and come straight back. Nothing should happen in the meantime, right? But when he stepped out, he noticed there wasn't a single guard in the hallway. He entered a large, bustling hall. Everywhere he looked, inmates were moving about freely, nothing like people who'd lost their freedom. Ash spotted a guard lounging around, casually playing a game. Completely unaware, he felt a surge of relief. Finally, a guard. At least there was someone he could call for help. He still hadn't received the Sword Maiden's experience yet, which meant he was a certified, grade A piece of deadweight. No combat ability whatsoever, plus all the mental weaknesses of an overworked corporate drone. Without an enforcer's protection, he wasn't even sure he could protect his dignity. Feeling a bit more at ease, he decided to look for the cafeteria. On the way, he overheard 2 men watching the news. Can't believe Lorenzo actually became a counselor. Looks like he's joined the Immortal Wine Club. That means Andrea's faction completely overshadows the mayor now. But the mayor won't even finish his term before he's out. A strange-looking man countered, "I don't think so. Mayor Financiu has Bishop Enrico's backing. You'll see. Lorenzo's rise isn't a sign of Andrea's victory. It's his death sentence. Andrea's been rooted in Kaimon for decades. The church won't move against him unless stability is at stake." Just then, a voice spoke from behind Ash. "Have you forgotten the railway commissioner's suicide 15 years ago?" He turned to see green-skinned orc inmates and a goblin prisoner discussing high-level political shifts. Then a blond man strolled over. Well, the leader of a 4-pillar god cult actually cares about Cayman's municipal politics." Ash turned toward him. The man continued, "Of course I know you. You've been on the 7 o'clock news, front page the last 2 days. News is the fastest way we get to know our new friends. First time meeting in person, though. You might have seen me on the news too, Igula Boking." Ash replied cautiously, "Nice to meet you. I'm Ash. Is everyone here this friendly?" Boking grinned. "We're always warm to newcomers. After all, we all share the same aspirations. Interested in joining our prison break research group? We look out for each other." Ash's eyes lit up. Talk about perfect timing. He'd been looking for a way to break out, and here was a ready-made group to join. Just then, a girl's cold voice cut in. "If I were you, I'd punch him in the face." Hearing that, Ash thought the voice sounded familiar. Was that the Sword Maiden? The next second, he threw a punch straight at Igula Boking. Just as his fist was about to connect, the system blared a red alert / "Warning. You are delivering excessive kinetic force to a citizen. This is a prohibited action. This is a prohibited action." His fist froze in midair, inches from Boking's face. Boking smirked. "Ash, that soft, harmless punch of yours is kinda cute. Looks like you're enjoying prison life just fine. I won't bother you then." With that, he turned and walked away. Ash exhaled deeply, finally able to move again. What the hell was that? The Sword Maiden's voice was cold. What's there to be surprised about? The miracle chip in the back of your neck detected an attempted assault and sent a neural signal to temporarily seize control of your body, preventing the attack. This technology is widely used in livestock management, though it seems to work even better on humans. Ash was dumbfounded. Then why did you tell me to hit him? Even though fighting and spell use are restricted here, there are still plenty of little tricks you can pull. For example, using a spirit to form a contract. If I'm not mistaken, that man has merfolk blood. Merfolk are one of the races most adept at mastering the psychic arts. If you'd agreed to his offer and shaken his hand, it would have been the same as signing a contract. That means becoming friends who help each other. Except, in this case, you'd be obligated to help him, while whether he helps you would depend entirely on his mood. Ash's eyes lit up with realization. I get it. If I'd actually shaken his hand, that'd be the same as becoming his employee. And no, wait, his unpaid intern. Oh, right? Other people can't see you? The Sword Maiden replied coolly. I can keep talking to you like this, as long as you don't mind everyone else staring at you like you've lost your mind. So, you really are the Mad Sword Maiden? That's right, I'm the Mad Sword Maiden. Ha, observer. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I never would have guessed you'd sink to a place like this. Mind if I laugh at you? Yes, I mind. And why aren't you wearing the outfit from your illustration? And you're not? You're strutting around in the Deluxe Supreme Smash Lake Prison Classic inmate uniform. You don't look anything like your own art, so don't talk to me about mine. The Sword Maiden puffed out her chest. I'm a woman. You seriously expect me to wear the same unwashed outfit every day? Since you're here, Sword Maiden Doryman, help me bust out of this prison. She chuckled. And why would I help you escape? You've got food and a place to stay here. Suits a useless guy like you just fine. Why so desperate to leave? Outside might be worse. Why not just retire early and live the cushy life you've always dreamed of? Because I've been set up, and in a few days I've got this Blood Moon trial. That doesn't sound like they're inviting me to an all-you-can-eat buffet. The Sword Maiden snickered. Oh, the Blood Moon trial. Now I really don't want to help you escape. You can't do that. I'm your master. Her expression turned cold instantly, her eyes glowing crimson. You my what? She jabbed a finger hard into his forehead. What did you just say? You my what? Smoke practically puffed from his forehead with each poke. You trying to say you're my master, right? Hell, what? You want me to call you that a few times, so you can add more research material to all the dirty thoughts in your head. Ash's face darkened. And what's wrong with that? You're just a virtual character in a game, and I'm the player. If I die, you stop existing. With that kind of bond, why wouldn't you help me? Ash said coldly. Mad Sword Maiden, I'm not your master, but I'm not your slave either. If you can't even treat me as an equal, you might as well go back into the game and be nothing but data. The Sword Maiden turned, her voice calm. A virtual character? Huh? You're right. I am nothing more than a phantom thought. But, observer, remember what you said today. You are not my master. You never will be. Swear it. If you lie, you'll lose your face and never get it back for 10,000 years. Ash swore back. I swear if I lie, I'll lose my face and never get it back for 10,000 years. Then the Sword Maiden beckoned him to follow as they walked. To be honest, it's not that I don't want to help you. I can't help you. As you've seen, no one but you can see or touch me. I can't affect the physical world at all. So how could I possibly help you break out of prison? Ash blinked. Then why are you here? To show off your new skin. Didn't you say it yourself? Our bond. The Sword Maiden replied. I'm here to transfer that 30% shared experience to you. Ash immediately spread his arms and closed his eyes, dead serious. All right, I'm ready. She jabbed him in the forehead again. Ready my ass. You think it's gonna go bling and suddenly you've mastered all my sword skills like some miracle? Smoke almost rose from his forehead as he asked blankly. Then how do you transfer it? Simple. Go find someone to fight. While you're in combat, I'll transmit the experience so you naturally gain it through battle. Hearing that, Ash scanned his surroundings. Target acquired, bald head, tattoos, huge muscles, scar across the face. Looked exactly like the type who'd killed hundreds before ending up here. A bona fide serial killer. Ash strode right over and, in a deliberate act of provocation, knocked over the man's cup, spilling water all over him. Oops, totally on purpose. The bald man's eyes went blood red as he rose to his full height, towering over Ash. Ash braced himself for a beating, but instead, the man's expression softened into one of adoration. Be careful walking around, okay? Oh, and today's milk is pretty good. Highly recommend. Ash just stared at him in shock. What the hell? This isn't how it's supposed to go. Back at his spot, the Sword Maiden was practically doubled over with laughter. Sorry, I've had professional training. Ha. Unless I can't help myself. All you inmates have chips locked into the backs of your necks. No attacking others, no verbal abuse, no self-harm. That's why Smash Lake Prison seems so free. Every bone and every nerve in your body is chained. They even let school kids come here for spring and autumn field trips. Those chips can even send a high-voltage shock that stops your heart instantly. Try digging an escape tunnel with a spoon, and the chip will shut you down for damaging property. Ash's eyes welled up. If prisoners can't attack anyone, how am I supposed to provoke a fight? The Sword Maiden snapped. Just find someone to fight already. Nothing's easier to understand than combat. Honestly, observer, are you breaking out or am I? What's next? When you're hungry, you're gonna call me mommy? The next second, Ash yelled, Mom, Grandma, which sent the Sword Maiden into a fury. She smacked him so hard he went flying. Ash slammed into the bald man's back. Hey, I'm Ash. What's your name? The burly bald man, thinking he was being hit on, pointed to himself. I already have a boyfriend. Ash shivered. That's not what I meant. I just had a question for you. The bald man's face lit up. I understand, really. Running into someone like me, who openly admits he's taken, must be so awkward for you while you're flirting. The bald man said earnestly, my love for my boyfriend is pure and genuine, so I make my stance clear from the start. I'm kind to everyone, but I won't tolerate even the slightest suspicion. Ash, you're a good guy too. I'm sure you'll find your own true love someday. And there's no need to be embarrassed. Failed flirting is perfectly normal. If you can't think of a cover question right now, I can wait. But honestly, Ash, the way you try to get my attention was way too cliche. Knocking over my milk on purpose? That's grade school level. Ash bit back a retort and asked directly, if I want to fight, is there a way? The bald man raised a brow. New here, huh? If you're looking to stretch your muscles, you've come to the right person. Name's Langna. I'm a member of the Deathmatch Club. We've got the warden's permission. During official matches, our chips can be temporarily disabled, so we can fight. It's an exclusive perk for club members. Ash's eyes widened. Deathmatch Club? As in fight to the death. The prison actually allows us to kill each other. Ash blinked in disbelief. With all the restrictions this place has, they actually allow us to kill each other? Langna chuckled. Someone dying doesn't necessarily mean you killed them. Right next to the deathmatch arena is a medical bay. As long as the body's intact and the guy's been dead for less than 5 minutes, they can usually bring him back. Of course, what kind of side effects he wakes up with? Well, that's another story. And even if a prisoner really dies, the warden doesn't care. Every inmate here's already on death row anyway. He suddenly brightened, pointing at Ash. Oh, now I remember. You're that famous guy from the news. The leader of the cult of the Four Pillars. His cheeks flushed as he leaned closer. Honestly, I've always been curious about that cult. Too bad I already have a boyfriend, or I might have given you a shot. Then he sighed dramatically. No wonder you're in such a rush to join the Deathmatch Club. The 15th's coming up fast. Hate to see a good boy like you die. Ash frowned. What's happening on the 15th? You really don't know? Fine, Daddy Langna will educate you. Every inmate in Lake Break Prison is a death row prisoner. No appeals, no escape. Political rights, gone forever. They let us eat well, sleep well, even play games, but the one thing we can't do is take a life, even our own. Because in the end, there's only one fate waiting for us. The Blood Moon Judgment. A live broadcast execution in front of millions. We're all just waiting for our turn to die. Hearing that, Ash froze, thunderstruck. What kind of twisted system is this? Isn't that just wasting resources? Langna sighed. Guess you really don't know anything. The Blood Moon Judgment is broadcast live at 8 p.m. on the 1st and 15th of every month. About 70% of the city tunes in, and the ad revenue easily beats the cost of keeping us locked up. Ash blinked. Public executions are primetime entertainment now? Don't these people have day jobs? Langna chuckled. If you want to escape the Blood Moon Judgment, there's a way. Each round has to end with 1 death, but 8 inmates enter the arena, and those 8 spots aren't fixed. Every death row inmate starts with 50 contribution points. 10 points get deducted each month. Even if your points hit 0, nothing happens right away. The prison doesn't bother killing you for it. But the higher your points, the deeper your place in the judgment sequence. The lower they are, the closer you are to the front of the line. There are plenty of ways to earn points. The simplest, create value. Sure, the memory extractors wiped everything we knew before we came in, so we can't sell secrets, but we can still make ourselves useful. Those jailed for corruption can design reforms to stop future scandals. The ones who ran illegal experiments can keep researching, legally this time, and publish papers. and anyone with a marketable skill can write bestsellers behind bars. That's still considered value creation. But most people here are like me, murderers who hate work and love taking what isn't theirs. That's why the Deathmatch Club is our only way out. Ash frowned. You said fighting in the Deathmatch Club comes with a cost. Besides pain or death, what kind of cost are we talking about? The biggest cost of a deathmatch, Langna explained, is the transfer of contribution points. Both sides have to stake their points. The winner escapes the Blood Moon for now. The loser faces the Judgment. If the Blood Moon Judgment is the end of death, then the Deathmatch Club is the blood-stained road leading to it. Almost every death row inmate eventually joins, betting their last points and bleeding out their last drop. They go on stage before millions, offering despair as entertainment. That's our Sokaye contribution. We call the weak to keep the blood flowing. That's why Lakebreak Prison allows the Deathmatch Club to exist. Langna chuckled. After all, every performer needs makeup before the show. Ash finally understood what he meant. He'd never seen a Blood Moon Judgment, but he could imagine it. Like a mobile game with flashy character art. Except here the deathmatch turned inmates into monsters worthy of the spotlight. It was gambling, slaughter, despair, fear, and agony, all blended into one. Nothing awakened a man's inner beast like a fight where his life was on the line. When a convict lost again and again, when pain drove him insane and fear crushed his will, he became the main course. What the audience saw was a beast full of bloodlust and despair. They didn't want numb souls. They wanted dying beasts, clawing for life before the final blow. It was a trap everyone knew about, but had no choice except to leap into. The losers became high-priced commodities. The winners drank poison for temporary glory. In the end, every one of them would die, after being drained of every last ounce of value. The cozy cells and good meals, just a feed to fatten the livestock. The judgment sequence itself was a brutal system of internal competition. Everyone fought not to be the first one butchered. It was kill or be killed. And honestly, every one of them deserved it. If you didn't want to be exploited, you could just lie down and wait for death. But if you wanted to live, you had to fight for it. If I were still outside, Ash thought, I'd probably applaud this setup, watching it all as a happy bystander. Too bad that idiot cult leader Sis dragged me into this mess. Now the only choice left is to find another way out. So, Langna asked with a smirk, after hearing all that, you still want to join the Deathmatch Club? Of course. Ash answered without hesitation. Langna didn't look surprised at all. He finished his milk with a loud burp. Then follow me. If we're lucky, we might even catch a fresh corpse. A deathmatch this early in the morning? Ash blinked. Deathmatch requires staking contribution points, but not much at first. The first round only needs 1 point, and each following round costs 1 more. Second round, 2 points. Third, 3, and so on. Even if you lose all 5 of your early matches, there's still a slim chance to turn things around. Every inmate made full use of their 5 chances, fighting to the death just to gauge each other's real strength and find out where they truly stood inside Lakebreak Prison. That's why deathmatch happens so often, pretty much one every single day. With the 15th approaching, the higher-ranked inmates were desperate to fight their way out of the Blood Moon Judgment. Ash smirked. I bet in the next few days, the blood on the ring won't even have time to dry. All right, want to try some meat? Langna blinked in surprise. Meat? What kind of meat? Turning back with a wide grin that showed his perfect white teeth, Langna replied, the kind that falls off the ring. It's one of the few things we can spend contribution points on. The prison owns all the leftovers, but if you pay, you can buy them back. If you're lucky, you might even get a premium thigh cut. Whether raw or cooked, it tastes amazing. When they stepped inside, the crowd immediately recognized him. Hey, it's Langna the Gourmet. Langna, is that your new boyfriend behind you? Langna stuck out his tongue playfully. Desmond, say that again, and I'll bite your head off for ruining my relationship. Desmond flinched. Haha, no offense, Langna. So who's the new guy? He's Ash Sis, the famous Four Pillars cult leader from the news. Just then, the crowd erupted. Who's fighting now? Diamond Tiger versus Blind Beast Rudo. On the stage, a goblin-like brute was throwing everything he had at an old man. What the hell? Tiger's already ancient. Why won't he spare even a scrap of contribution points? Didn't any of you challenge Rudo yourselves? Of course we wanted a piece of that fat prize, one inmate whispered. But Rudo's never seen Tiger fight before. He thought Tiger looked easy to bully, and the higher the bet, the better the payout. Now look at him. Rudo's already gasping for air. Tiger grinned, that cruel, twisted kind of grin only killers had. He leapt high, his fists slamming into Rudo's jaw, sending the massive brute flying. But Tiger didn't stop. In an instant, his fists rained down like a storm, pounding Rudo again and again. Wait, isn't it over already? Ash cried out. He clearly won. Not that simple, someone in the shadows replied. Look, the air barrier's still up. It only drops when one of them dies or blacks out completely. As long as that barrier stays, you never stop. No surrender, no mercy. In a deathmatch, the loser either dies or passes out. Plenty of idiots thought this was some friendly spar. They stopped mid-fight, then got killed and lost all their contribution points, shooting straight to the top of the judgment sequence. That's the whole point of the deathmatch club, transferring points from the unworthy to those strong enough to take them. If both sides agree, the bets don't even have to be equal. And by rule, every deathmatch has to stake at least one more point than the last. Tiger's fought 34 matches before, so this one's 35. Ash frowned. Then this is Rudo's 5th? Nah, his 10th. He's already lost 9 times straight. Only 5 points left. They call him Blind Beast Rudo for a reason. He always picks fights with people way out of his league. As they spoke, Rudo's body went limp. See? Once the barrier drops, that door opens. The medics come in, drag the body to the infirmary, patch them up, and that's when the match is officially over. Tiger coughed twice as he stepped off the stage. Damn, that beast punch still hurts. Might have cracked a rib. From the audience came laughter. Yeah, right, old man. At that moment, Sword Maiden appeared beside Ash. He's strong on this stage, she said coldly. Why? Ash whispered. Sword Maiden quickly pressed a finger to her lips, warning him to stay silent before anyone noticed he was talking to himself. Sword Maiden explained, this arena only allows offensive actions. Everything else, including spell output, is restricted. There are many kinds of arcanists, artisans, warriors, scholars, healers, but most rely entirely on mana. Once their mana is sealed, they're just regular people. However, a few arcanists can still fight on par with monsters even without mana. They're called body arts arcanists. Anyone who trains their flesh, swordsmen, brawlers, martial adepts, falls into that category. But most only have a memory advantage, not real physical superiority. And then there's the rare kind, those who reforge their bodies themselves, turning flesh and bone into living weapons. They're raw power borders on monstrous. Even without mana, their body enhancements remain. Those are known as Kuro Arcanists. Anyway, Sword Maiden said, since you're here, you'd better start fighting. Just don't pick that old guy. Ash thought, what do you take me for, an idiot? Oh, and one more thing, she added. Pick someone barehanded. You should fight barehanded too. Ash frowned. Why? Sword Maiden grinned. Because you're weak as hell. If you go against someone with a blade, you'll be diced in seconds. At least fists give you time to breathe, and give me time to transfer experience. Ash turned to the inmate beside him. I want a barehanded deathmatch. Anyone you'd recommend? Barehanded? The man laughed. You're talking to the right guy. I'm a hand-to-hand specialist myself. How about we fight? I promise I'll go easy. Ash's eyes lit up. Sure, but it's my first deathmatch, so I'm only staking 1 contribution point. Even if you're pretending to be weak, you won't make much. The man leaned closer, smiling with unsettling calm. Relax, brother. I won't just take your points, I'll give you some. As Ash finally saw his face clearly, his blood froze. It was Igura Boking. After all, Igura said with a charming smile, I'm just a weak little fraud. Even you wanted to punch me, didn't you, Ash with the cute fists? The crowd erupted, the new cult leaders fighting the beastly beauty. That freak never misses a single point. Don't tell me the cult guy's already hypnotized. Huh, the beast's gonna bag 50 points easy. Hearing the shouts, Ash forced a strained smile. So you really were playing dumb all along. Igura chuckled. I think you're the one hiding your strength, trying to bait me. You're the leader of the cult of the 4 pillars who dared face the blood frenzy hunter, while I'm just a run-of-the-mill con man. Either way, your combat stats higher. In fact, before the match, Ash had asked Langna about Igura's record. Prison seals mana, sure, but he's a fraudster, able to use mana indirectly. Kind of like when he invited me in the hall. Sword Maiden laughed so hard she nearly doubled over. Your advantage? End Watcher, are you trying to kill me laughing? Where does your confidence even come from? Maybe think about how you even agreed to step onto that stage. The question snapped Ash back to himself. Why had he accepted the challenge? For a moment, it was like some absurd thought had been hardwired in. There was no reflex to refuse. Had he really just answered because of that line, "Fight me. I won't bully you. Sure, let's go." Sword Maiden leaned on the rail, bored. From now on, don't accept other people's invites so casually. 111, you're the inn watcher, aren't you? Seriously, you should refuse everyone's kindness and malice. Say no to everything. Take everything with your own strength. Rule everything with your will. Be the Demon King. Ash nearly blurted out, "No." Sword Maiden snapped at him, offended. "You brat." At that moment, a transparent barrier rose around the ring, officially starting the death match. A sharp ding rang in Ash's head. He felt a shackle loosen in his neck. The chip's restrictions preventing him from attacking Igura had been lifted. Before he fully processed it, Igura lunged, a leopard quick sprint. Ash raised an arm to block and tried to sidestep. But Igura had anticipated it. One brutal slide tackle sent Ash sprawling. Ash hit the hard ring with a faceplant. His chin slammed into the floor, and pain blurred his vision. Ash didn't hesitate. He rolled to his feet at once. But he couldn't shake Igura. The con man's fist smashed into Ash's gut with bone-crunching force. The pain made him grunt. His stomach churned so violently he nearly vomited bile. Igura, in a mockingly helpful tone, called out, "Clench your teeth." Before Ash could fully react, another heavy blow came snapping toward his temple. Dizziness washed over him. His vision darkened at the edges. He leaned on the ring rail, barely keeping himself upright, arms clamped over his center. But Igura seemed to read his defense. Every straight and hooking punch found the gaps. In minutes, Ash was bruised and swollen, stumbling while taking blow after blow. He screamed inside his head, "When does the experience transfer start? If this keeps up, I'll get killed. Sword Maiden, help." Sword Maiden's reply was breezy. "Soon. The more you take, the faster the transfer. Don't just dodge, strike back." Clinging to hope, Ash asked, "Does counterattacking speed up the transfer?" "No, but it makes the match more entertaining. Watching you get pummeled the whole time is boring." Sword Maiden was privately surprised. She'd expected him to beg or break down into tears. Yet despite the humiliation, he'd reached his limit. A world walker who'd never seen such bloodshed, showing a toughness beyond belief. Even without Sword Maiden's help or the Arcanist's manual, he'd likely adapt fast to this glossy but brutal world after the shock of crossing over. He was never the weak type, just needed the right world to bring it out. He truly was the End Watcher. Later, Ash would realize that moment was like a sponge soaking up every bit of knowledge around him. Suddenly, adrenaline shot through him. With a fierce stomp and a horse dance, he threw a straight punch forward. So soft. How adorable, Igor mocked. He tilted his head aside, smirking, and his counterpunch slammed right into Ash's face. Ash tried to curse, but couldn't even breathe properly. Every swing missed. Every one of Igor's hits landed. He couldn't block, couldn't dodge. Igor slipped past everything with ease. To the crowd, it didn't even look like a fight anymore. It was theater. There it is again. The Beast's trick. Elegant, like choreography. The cult leader's 49 points are as good as gone. 45 wins straight. Only Old Man Tiger could beat the Beast now. Tiger waved his hands frantically. "No way, no way. The kids these days just keep getting stronger. I'm an old man. I'll be their stepping stone soon enough." "Old man? Maybe say that after you stop twisting the railing. You're turning it into a pretzel." Someone glanced toward Langna, nestled in the arms of a burly man. "Langna, can you see through the Beast trick?" "No idea," Langna said, yawning. "You only find out after fighting him. But I'm not interested. He's not my type. Don't worry, darling. As long as you're alive, no one else exists in my eyes." On the ring, Igura asked lazily, "Do you know why I've won 45 straight matches? My body's average. My reflexes aren't fast. So why can I hit you every time, and you can't hit me once?" Indeed, after trading blows, Ash realized Igura's physique was no better than his. Forget Tiger. The guy wasn't even stronger than a random brawler. They were on the same level, yet Ash could barely land a hit. Igura's technique wasn't exceptional either. If it were, Ash would already be unconscious. They were both amateurs, so why was the gap so huge? 148, Igura's handsome face loomed over him, eyes gleaming. "Because you're all livestock. bled, skinned, sliced into bite-sized perfection for your masters. Not just you. Every beastman, troll, goblin stronger than me fell right here, handing me their precious contributions. Igura sneered. From the moment you stepped on the ring, I put a chain around your neck. Until I drain your last contribution point, your livestock to be slaughtered. Enraged, Ash threw a punch. Igura seemed to hear his thoughts and mocked weak. You're so damn weak. The next second he ducked and cracked an uppercut into Ash's jaw. Who do you think you can hit? Your punches smell like milk. One after another, Ash's attacks were red. He's gonna kick my left shin. He's trying to clinch me. Right hook next. Igura said coldly, your thoughts are bleeding into my mind. Your attack patterns are an open book. He read and dodged with ease, taunting, go on, almost had me that time. Just as he thought he could finish Ash, Ash slipped aside with surprising agility, forcing Igura to stumble back several paces. Shock flickered across Igura's face. He actually dodged my move? That's not good. Time to end this. Knock him out. The crowd erupted, the beast getting serious. Yeah, finish it already. Beast, use a knife next time. I want to taste some firm thigh meat. Langna chuckled. Even if I don't fight you for it, you still won't get any. A sharp-eyed spectator shouted, look, the beast used to land every punch. Now he's hitting maybe 1 in 4. And that one's getting blocked. Well, not bad. Playing dumb, huh? Old man Tiger, he's just like you. Tiger replied, coolly, no. He's not playing dumb. He really was dumb. Langna stood up, adding exactly. The body doesn't lie. His frame's untouched by combat. Pure scholar type. I brought him here myself. I know that better than anyone. Impossible. Just a few minutes of fighting, and he's already showing combat instincts. So this is what a follower of the 4 pillars god looks like. Yeah, a wrong man in a wrong place, awakening the wrong kind of talent. Defense. The cult leader just blocked the beast strike for the first time. Up in the stands, the sword maiden nodded slightly. It's almost over. Every era has its own rhythm. In this one, large-scale wars are nearly gone. Humanity no longer expands its borders. Classes have hardened, systems rule supreme. Plunder has evolved into a more refined kind of exploitation. Everyone here was fighting over what little was left. Every action had to follow rules set 1,000 years ago. And in this age, the only law that mattered was domination. Dominate people, dominate systems, dominate culture, dominate thought. In this nation of the Blood Moon, where classes were fixed from birth and most would never touch the Dream Realm, we mind sorcerers stood at the very top of the food chain. Even the ruling clans, the Blood Saints and the Moon Shades, feared us. They sealed all knowledge of Minecraft from the lower castes. But thanks to his awakened nymph bloodline, and by discovering the 2 mind spirits' resonance and fulfillment within the Dream Realm, he had transcended the limits of mortals, becoming a true mind sorcerer. He'd once been a contract mage in the insurance business, possessing the basic mind-spirit contract. Combining all 3, contract, resonance, and fulfillment, he created a miracle power aimed at intelligent beings. Word made law. Whether it was a lie or a joke, the moment he spoke, his words bound reality itself. He could connect through resonance, seal a promise through contract, then compel obedience through fulfillment. In a civilized society, such a power was unstoppable. He should have been relaxing at some seaside villa, sipping fine wine, but wherever there were rules, he remained the one in control. Even prison was no exception. Though spirit and mana were restricted here, his 3 spirits, contract, resonance, and fulfillment, were all speech-based. With mere words, he could bypass the chip's limits and awaken their echo once more. By linking through contract and guiding with words, he kept resonance active between himself and his opponent, allowing him to read every attack before it came. Thanks to the miracle word made law, even a defeated foe couldn't escape him. They'd subconsciously agree to a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th duel until their contribution points were bled dry. That was how he won 45 matches in a row. But this guy, he'd gone from a silent lamb waiting to be slaughtered to a loud one. Such a cute punch, Igura sneered. Softer than a baby's. Tired already? I'll admit, I underestimated you. Your learning speed exceeds my expectations. Is it a gift from the 4 pillars god, or just buried talent? You've got potential, but your body's pathetic. All I need to do is drag this out, and you'll collapse. That single point, you bet. Consider it your redemption fee for evolving from cattle to man. Rejoice, Ash Heath. You're the only beast who's broken its chain, but that's all you'll ever be. After this match, we're done. I won't take your challenges again, and by the prison's rules, you can't touch me anyway. To know the rules, use the rules, and rule through the rules. That's true power. When the blood moon trial swallows you whole, your so-called combat instinct will only turn you from livestock into a beast. I'll be sitting in safety, sipping red wine, watching you flail in the arena. That's the gap between the ruled and the ruler. Don't cover your face. You're actually kind of handsome. I'd like to enjoy the view. Igura froze. It was the first genuine compliment he'd ever heard in the arena. Out of instinctive vanity, he lowered his guard, and the next second, Ash's fist crashed squarely into his face. Igura hit the floor and didn't get back up. The judge's voice rang out. Winner, Ash Heath. But by now, Ash was completely spent. Inside his mindscape, pain surged like fire. So, this is what fighting feels like. Damn, it hurts so much. Then it hit him what the deathmatch truly was. It wasn't about winning. It was about shaping death row inmates into spectacles of agony, turning each failure, each scream, into art for the crowd. What they wanted wasn't victory, but a beast, blood-soaked, desperate, half-mad, still clawing to live. That was the main course of the Blood Moon trial. A beautiful trap, a grand design no one could refuse. Losers became products of the prison, sold for a high price in the live streams. Winners were only drinking poison. Sooner or later, they'd end up on stage. Too, the private showers, good meals, and fancy facilities were just to fatten the livestock. The so-called judgment sequence was nothing more than an endless zero-sum grind. Either you die, or I do. Cruel, but perfectly logical. We're all criminals here. Don't want to be exploited? Then lie down and wait to die. Want to live? Then fight like hell. If I weren't in here, Ash thought, I'd probably be clapping for this system, watching it with popcorn. Then suddenly, he realized, wait, the pain's gone? Ash Heath, wake up already. If you don't get moving, dinner time's over, came a nurse's lazy voice. We don't serve hospital meals here. Slowly, Ash opened his eyes. A woman with wide, curious eyes leaned over him. Huh? Why do your eyes look like that? You feeling weird somewhere? Weird. Ash flinched. You scare the hell out of me. Eyes are fine. Eyes are fine, she said thoughtfully. If there's a problem, maybe it's your face? My face? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I healed all your wounds already. I think I'm less handsome than before. Are you sure you didn't mess up? Do you guys offer cosmetic surgery here? The woman blinked, half amused. You've got guts at least. Not like the others. Fine, let's talk a bit. Maybe we'll hit it off. Of course I do. The woman chirped. Eyelid lift, nose reshaping, bone shaving, chin filler. You name it, I can do it. I can even turn you into another species. I highly recommend my Caslin technique. It really makes your eyes pop. Oh, and the latest one, Sugar Bunny Lips. Gives your mouth a natural sweetness. Ash panicked. Whoa, hold on, I don't have any money. Her grin turned eerie. I don't need your money. I just want you. Hey, if. Ash froze. Wait, what? We just met. Hold up. Are you even a woman? What are you? She reached out, voice honey smooth and terrifying. All you have to do is let me operate. No charge. Totally free. Ash crossed his arms. Okay, then what if I make you pay me? She blinked, genuinely considering it. How much are we talking? Are you sure you don't want to try? I'm a silver tier Meditech healer with 3 spirit links. You won't find another doctor like me out there. Powerful, free, and enthusiastic. Ash raised both hands defensively. Whoa, stop. I was just asking. In my world, we have a saying, free stuff costs the most. If I take your freebie, I'll probably pay for it somewhere else. All right, fine, the woman said, suddenly serious. If you let me operate on you, there's just a tiny bit of risk. Ash gave her a look of pure disbelief. A tiny bit? You're right. I've heard that one before. The woman spoke excitedly, explaining that in this world, medicine had evolved entirely from the art of spirit craft. As long as there was moisture left in a patient's body, healers could perform bloodletting, scrape away damaged flesh, and then activate a spirit sigil to make the wound regenerate instantly. The most common spirit link among healers is from the water affinity called aquatherapy, but it's got a lot of flaws. Like, sometimes things grow back a little too much. Still, aquatherapy can evolve. The more cases a healer treats, the stronger and more efficient it becomes, eventually advancing into a dual-winged spirit link. Just keep coming back, she said cheerfully, and you'll get better. Eventually, Ash looked awkwardly at the woman, while she went on in pure excitement. Shattered Lake Prison is awesome. Every single day, there are prisoners getting beaten half to death. It's the perfect place to farm EXP. Seriously, this place is a total grind-fest paradise. Turns out, the Deathmatch Society wasn't just a scheme to make inmates fight each other. It was also a business model. Prisoners doubled as renewable EXP resources. This prison was capitalism on steroids. Still, free treatment, no contribution cost? Ash snorted. These guys have no business sense. My company's got way better margins. Also, could they at least hire prettier doctors? Isn't this place amazing? She giggled. It's all part of tradition. Deep meaning and all that. Think about it. If something does go wrong during surgery and you wake up missing a few parts, would you dare hit a face like mine? Exactly. Wait, so you're saying your surgeries do go wrong often? Not often, just a teeny, tiny possibility. Really tiny. Your customer service sucks, Ash said flatly. Let me guess. You had too many complaints outside, right? So you hid in prison, where your patients can't file reports. The woman looked utterly frustrated. I already healed them, she snapped, puffing in anger. And yet they still go around complaining and making trouble everywhere. Some of those problems weren't even my fault. I gave them basic care, and they kept demanding extra nonsense. Yeah, I know, she muttered, shoulders slumping. My technique still sucks. Ash sighed. You know what your real problem is? You talk too soft. That timid tone of yours, patients will eat you alive. Even if you work for free, they'll still blame you. Here, let me teach you something. When you admit you might not cure someone, say it loud. Straight back, chin up, sound confident, like you're proud of it. That's step 1. Step 2, find the patient's flaw. If they're pretty, say they party too much. If they're skinny, tell them they're malnourished. If they're ugly, say they lack love. If they're fat, say it's overnutrition. There's always a weakness to hit. No one's perfect. You'll always find a crack to press on. Once you do, you'll build authority. Make them feel like you treating them is an honor. That way, even if something goes wrong, they won't blame you. They'll defend you. Got it? From now on, after every surgery, just tell them, I did my best. She whispered timidly, I did my best. Ash slouched lazily on the operating table and said casually, not bad. You can figure out the rest yourself. I'm gonna grab some food. I've mastered this whole PUA routine anyway. He thought that kind of psychological voodoo would get you fired in an office. But for a broke volunteer healer like her, it might just keep her alive. As Ash got up to leave, the woman suddenly called out, you really don't want to get some cosmetic work done? She leaned in again, cautiously, but with a spark of curiosity in her eyes. Look in the mirror, she teased. You sure walking around like that isn't a little disrespectful to everyone else? Ash thought to himself, nice. The student's already using what she learned against the teacher. If she worked for my company, she'd be team leader material. He smirked. Compared to your crow face, I think I look pretty good. Next time, for sure. The woman got flustered and snapped back. I'm not ugly. You're the one who's ugly. Suddenly, she remembered something and handed him a small tag. All right, Ash, take this. My ID tag. Keep it on you all the time, even when you sleep. That way everyone knows you're under my care. Ash raised a brow, giving her a once-over before asking half seriously. So, what are you exactly? What race? And are you male or female? I'm pretty chill, but if you're past my limit, I'm definitely charging extra. You won't even get cosmetic surgery. Huh? Walk around like that, and people will challenge you to deathmatch 7 times a day. With my tag, when you end up as meat paste, I get priority treatment rights. If your face gets smashed, I'll even fix it myself. She immediately pushed Ash toward the cafeteria. All right, move it. Go get your food before the place closes. Ash turned back. If I come back next time, will you slice me an apple? She chuckled. Sure. Just thank me by letting me work on your face. Ash waved goodbye. Let's have lunch sometime then. See you next time. All right, thanks again. Next time for sure. Goal accomplished. He smiled inwardly. Rule number 1 of office networking. Ask people for tiny favors. The feeling of being needed is a powerful thing. That trick alone got me voted Employee of the Month 6 times straight, and a half-year bonus. Down the corridor, someone called out, "Why are you still here?" The woman glanced back and replied, One of the patients just woke up. It held me up a bit. I gave him my ID tag, set up future treatments. You didn't talk to him, did you? The colleague asked sharply. She sighed. You know the rules. Talking to inmates is forbidden. Our identities must stay sealed. If the Human Rights Association finds out about our rituals here, they'd tear the council apart. Her colleague reminded her, then hurry back to your room. The blood art paper, 11 inches, due before the weekend. Don't forget, and don't think a bit of talent gives you an excuse to slack off. If it weren't for the supervisor's permission, you wouldn't even have the right to be here. She thought to herself, is my senior criticizing me on purpose? Trying to show authority and put me in my place? She sighed. Getting in through the supervisor's connections was something she couldn't change, though it had nothing to do with her skill. Still, they never stopped using it against her. But he wasn't entirely wrong. Ash's recovery rate really is way above average. The feel of his muscles while healing him wasn't half bad. Either, she muttered under her breath. A twisted smile crept onto her lips. I really hope that bastard gets beaten half to death soon. Meanwhile, Ash was eating, a bitter smile tugging at his lips. He'd thought all that chaos might have pulled him a little further from death. Yet here he was still stuck in the same damn place. He'd earned 45 contribution points, but that didn't spare him from the upcoming Blood Moon trial. Normally, the higher your contribution, the later you'd be called up, but only under certain conditions. Lana looked half asleep as he raised his cup lazily. Every inmate has to take part in their first Blood Moon trial. Only the ones who survive get their order rearranged based on contribution points. Out of 8 contestants, only one dies, 12.5% odds. Not bad, he thought, until reality hit. Ash Heath, the infamous leader of the Four Pillar Cult, responsible for over 1,000 deaths, was now a public villain. His trial would be the show's main event. Langna grinned. So, if you're thinking of giving up, how about donating those contribution points to me? I'll honor your sacrifice and live happily ever after with my boyfriend. Ash snapped. Get lost. I might just survive this, you know. I'm not giving up. Lana still looked half asleep as he spread his hands lazily. All right then. Someone wants to challenge you, you in? Ash raised an eyebrow. So that's why you waited for me in the cafeteria? Someone with 37 points and 36 matches wants to fight me? Exactly, Langna nodded. Normally, veterans don't even bother with rookies under 5 matches. Too little to gain. So I'm wondering, did you piss this guy off? Who is it? Ash asked. Langna licked the rim of his cup and said slowly, Sharendor. So, will you accept Varka's challenge? What weapon does Varka's use? Ash asked. The sword maiden appeared out of thin air and giggled. A sword, of course. Ash frowned. You spying on me again? He tilted his head, grinning slyly. If you can touch me, does that mean I can touch you too? Maybe take a shower first, Sword Maiden. She drew her blade, shouting, was I asking for that kind of comment? Under her glare, Ash turned to Langna. Tell Varkas to wash his neck clean and wait for me tomorrow. Langna waved cheerfully. See you in the morning at the Deathmatch Society. I gotta run. My boyfriend's waiting. Ciao. Ash watched him walk away, puzzled. That path leads to the Deathmatch Hall. Shouldn't he be heading to the couple's quarters? Just then, the Sword Maiden motioned for him to follow. Come on, let's head back to the dorm. She gave a sly smile. You're not sleeping early tonight. I'm about to show you a world you've never known. His face flushed crimson. What do you mean, a world you've never known? Does he really look like a virgin? That woman's mouth was out of line. If she keeps acting like that, he'll have no standing at all. 8:45 p.m. inside the Deathmatch Society. Langna hefted a slab of meat and grinned. Ash accepted. Not because of the name you gave me. He's actually hoping for a swordsman. A shadowed figure nodded in thanks. Consider this a favor owed, Langna. Varkas, pay up now. Tell me, why did you suddenly single out little Ash? Does it have anything to do with that name? Sharendor? Varkas answered coolly. I don't mind telling you, so long as you don't regret it. Langna waved him off. Never mind. My boyfriend and I are happy. We don't want to get mixed in with big players' politics. Someone muttered, is Ash really the leader of the Four Pillar Cult? I know people. He looks more like a freshly hired student. I thought he was innocent. Another scoffed, Anyone who steps foot in this cesspit is far from innocent. Varkas confirmed, Ash Heath has agreed to fight me. He added, voice hard as stone. Make sure you smash his brain, heart, and spines so badly even a two-wing art spirit can't fix him. Varkas walked forward coldly, his voice flat and calm. I'll do what you asked, but what about what you promised me? The reply came cold. If Ash Heath dies tomorrow, after the next Blood Moon tribunal, you will vanish from this prison. But you and that kid can't stay in Kaimon City. That's Mr. Sharin's demand. Varkas gritted his teeth in anger. I've got no interest in breathing the same air as Sharin. All right, free time's almost over. Get back to your cell. The guard barked. Watching the elf death row inmate being escorted away, the guard sneered, a mere prisoner acting like some noble aristocrat, pathetic. Meanwhile, unaware of any of this, Ash was in his room with the Sword Maiden, discussing a rather adult topic. The Sword Maiden smirked. 2 updates for you. Good news first. You get to enjoy government-funded housing for the rest of your life. The bad news, you could be dragged out for execution any day. She continued, you saw it yourself. The ascetic who turned his body to diamond was still helpless. As long as that controlled chip stays in your neck, escape is impossible. Ash nodded. True. Even if I made it out, the chip would still hunt me down. He asked, what if I cut out the flesh on my neck? Would that work? She shook her head. The miracle chip runs through your entire body. Bone, nerves, muscles, it's fused into you. So you mean there's no way to remove it by normal means? Ash sighed. What about magic? Or a sorcerer's trick? The Sword Maiden smiled softly. Oh, there are many ways. The one you're most likely to get is the sword miracle, Sever Me. Sever Me is a swordsman's defensive miracle that purifies abnormal states. It's a silver tier technique, just 1 wing level, but it can cleanse even continuous damage from 2 wing art spirits. If you can unleash Sever Me, you'll wipe every miracle chip from your body in an instant. Then, and only then, could you escape. The Sword Maiden went on. To perform a miracle, you must first have an art spirit, and there are 4 ways to get one. First, by studying knowledge and resonating with the void, turning its truth into a spirit that manifests in reality. But that path's closed to you. The miracle chip already severed your link to the void. No matter how much you study, you'll never trigger resonance. Second, spirit trading, she added with a shrug. Let's be honest, you've got nothing valuable enough to trade. Third, kill a caster and steal their spirit. But a mortal killing a sorcerer usually happens only when a bed slave murders their master mid-pleasure. And clearly, that's not your style. Fourth, enter the void yourself and hunt down a wild spirit. That's your only real option. Then how do I even enter the void? Ash asked. The only way, she said, is by triggering the gate of truth within a spirit's core and sending your consciousness across the veil. Wait, Ash frowned. To go to the void, I need a spirit, but I need to go to the void to find one. He groaned. That's like a college grad finding out every job needs 3 years of experience. No spirit means I can't enter the void, but I need the void to find a spirit. That's a perfect loop of doom. The Sword Maiden smirked. Who said you have to use your own spirit to enter? You forgot, didn't you? She said, eyes gleaming. I already have a Waveblade spirit. That means I can access the void. Since we've bonded through the handbook, our souls are linked. So taking you with me will be easy. Wait, it has that kind of function? Ash asked, puzzled. The Sword Maiden's temper flared. You seriously forgot to check it yourself? She snapped. Ash frowned. When did the system get an extra feature module? Then just tick it, she said impatiently. After confirming the prompt, Ash turned to her. Nothing. No reaction at all. I already confirmed it. Hurry up and press yours. He urged. The Sword Maiden turned away. I'm going back to prepare. You wait here. Prepare what? Ash muttered, confused. A lot of things a virgin like you wouldn't understand. The hell? What makes you think I'm a virgin? He barked. Then he simply waited in silence. Before long, he drifted off to sleep. After all, Ash had been through enough for one day. Meanwhile, 3 hours away, under the starry sky of Starvale, inside the Swordflower University girls' dormitory. Ugh, I'm exhausted, Ingrid. You shower first, or should I? I'll go, Ingrid replied. I've got laundry after. You can barely stand, sit, and rest. Classes, sparring, and then sword training at night. Plus, trying to master the Waveblade spirit. Feels like every minute of my day's packed solid. That's not bad. You're training under Telezin, one of the top 10 sword saints of Starvale. The Hidden Hand saint himself. He might even reach 4-wing legend rank soon. If that happens, Sonia, You'll be the apprentice of a legend. Sonia smiled lightly and said, Professor Telezin hasn't said he'll take me as his apprentice yet. He just thinks I have potential. So I'll go recommend myself to him tomorrow. Don't expect me to wait for you. No need. I'm close to breaking the 10 rings myself. Once I summon my first spirit, the Sword Arts Division will open its resources to me. Maybe I'll even catch up to you. Sonia sighed. Good thing you were there earlier. Otherwise, I'd have no idea how to turn down Philly. Swordflower's too small. I'll have to accept the invitation from Trinexus someday. Romance can wait till I've achieved something with my sword. Professor Telezin also signed me up for the Trinexus sword tournament. I'll get to use their facilities too. From now on, I'll probably be commuting between Swordflower and Trinexus. So you'll be meeting all those elite guys from Trinexus, huh? If you find a cute one, remember to introduce him to me. Sonia chuckled. How could I forget my roommate? We shared a whole year of chaos and laughter. Right, Lois? Oh, the young ladies studying water arts again? I'm jealous. Such an easy and elegant discipline, the girls sighed. Forget it. I'll shower in the morning. I need to hit the meditation hall. Tonight's my first trip into the void. Good night, everyone. TCH, that country girl's really letting success go to her head. Don't mind her, Lois. Sooner or later, her arrogance will blow up in her face. This time I lost. That village girl, she's already climbed higher than I can reach. If things keep going like this, by the time we graduate, I'll have to bow my head. No way. I refuse to believe I can't surpass her. Not long after, Sonia arrived at the Swordflower University meditation tower. My thoughts really are moving faster, and the Waveblade spirit feels excited too, as expected from a place blessed by the Star Veil Archon. So, when I enter the void, will you still be with me? I'm kind of broke, she muttered. The end observer appeared, his tone deadpan. That counts as overtime, you know. I expect payment. Sonia grinned. The most valuable thing I've got is me. Exactly what I wanted to hear. From this moment, you're officially my employee. However, since you haven't graduated yet, this is a probationary period. No contract, no pay. You spent so much effort on me, she said as they walked. Training me in dreams, teaching me here. You must expect some kind of return. Your only job, he said coldly, is to stay alive. Stay alive? She echoed, confused. He chuckled. Just kidding. Truth is, I've gotten weaker. Can't explore the void on my own anymore. So, I'll be needing your protection. Suddenly, Sonia found herself standing in a mysterious space. As she entered meditation, her consciousness plummeted into an endless sea of nothingness. Observer, are you there? She cried out in panic. I'm here, the voice replied softly. Don't worry. The sacred bond between us, our fates are already entwined. In the next instant, the Sword Maiden realized she and the End Observer were standing on a small wooden boat. So this is the void, she whispered. It looked exactly like the textbooks described, the Sea of Knowledge, also called the Silver Sea or the Primordial Ocean. Whether genius or fool, six-wing Archon or one-wing apprentice, everyone's first step into the void began here. Huh, why can't I see my reflection clearly? Wait, this outfit, it's the same dark coat from my illustration. Not bad, kind of cool actually. Why is there a boat? Sonia shouted. The textbook said we're supposed to arrive naked. Yeah, I heard everyone starts by swimming in the sea itself. No boats, no nothing. The End Observer crossed his arms. I get it now. Your consciousness split in two. One part became this heavy soul vessel, the other your agile mental form. The ship is your soul. The person is your mind. The soul carries the self across the sea. It fits perfectly. Sonia raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah? Prove it. Easy jump in. If I'm right, you won't be able to leave this boat. Splash. Sonia dove straight into the water. Moments later, she climbed back aboard, soaked and triumphant. Huh, wrong again. See? I can leave. This boat isn't my soul at all. Ha, guess even you can be wrong sometimes. Huh. Observer? But the observer just stared blankly, his eyes fixed on her drenched, perfect figure. Sonia's fist cracked against his head. With a lump rising, he said seriously, still, it's just a boat. No need to make such a fuss. Of course there is. With this boat, we won't drown. Don't underestimate drowning. She snapped. It's literally the most common way for casters to die. For any caster, exploration of the void was the most vital stage of growth. Nearly every miracle, breakthrough, or evolution began there. Many casters spent their whole lives chasing the deep. So what happens if you die here? The End Observer asked quietly. If you die here, the End Observer explained, your mind needs 3 full days to recover. The Sword Maiden nodded. Death in the void causes deep soul trauma. The stronger the soul, the heavier the damage, and the longer the recovery. A novice only needs 3 days. A full silver tier caster takes at least 15. Gold tier, measured in months. And for domain or legendary casters, recovery can take years. If you can't explore the void, your growth rate drops by 90%. That's why casters split into 2 schools of thought. The cautious ones, steady and methodical. And the gamblers, win big, you toast with champagne. Lose, and you become the decoration at the party. The End Observer scratched his head in confusion. Well, having a boat is pretty convenient, but why does this feel like a total cheat code? A cheat? Could it be linked to the caster's manual? The Observer wondered aloud. He activated the manual. To his shock, it still functioned within the void. Even better, it had a built-in void navigation tutorial. Suddenly, the boat began to rock violently, as if struck by an earthquake. Sword Maiden, stop shaking around. Let me handle it. He yelled. You? She smirked. You think you know the correct course in the void? After I finished reading the tutorial, he muttered. She sighed. Knew it. No one's ever found a fixed guide to exploring the void. Even Professor Telezin just shrugs and says, there isn't one. That's why all casters are equal here, she added. In the void, we're all the same, equally ignorant. But there's one rule you must remember, she warned. Never stop moving. If you stay still too long, your heart in the real world will stop. Not even a healer can save you. They say, when you stop in the void, your body believes you're already dead. The End Observer chuckled. Wow, Sword Maiden, you're scared of dying? I thought you were one of those thrill seekers who enjoy being the club idol. I used to be, she huffed. Back then, I had nothing to lose. But now, things are different. She lifted her chin proudly. I'm a swordsmanship prodigy now. Professor Telezin himself said, 20 years to gold, 40 to domain. In the Starvale Kingdom, a 2-wing gold caster can easily earn minor nobility. That's already the life I dreamed of. If I ever reach 3-wing domain, I could found my own school, make a name that echoes for generations. I know ambition brings glory, she said, smiling faintly, but holding on to what I already have. That's happiness too. You can't blame me for playing it safe. I heard moving toward the pale mist is the safest route in the void. Just then, the boat suddenly sped up. No, the Observer said, pointing. We're going that way. Wait, you can control this boat? You brought it here? Sonia asked in disbelief. Then why did you trick me into jumping into the sea? Hey, I just found out I could control it. Okay? The Observer protested. Suddenly, Sonia froze. Wait, this mist, what is it? She reached out, feeling faint streams of light flow through her skin. It's knowledge. Swordsmanship knowledge is pouring into me. So it's true. Just moving through the void lets a caster absorb its wisdom. That knowledge condensed into silver mana, forming the mark of a silver tier caster, the Silver Wings. While Sonia basked in the thrill of knowledge flooding into her veins, Ash looked more like a slacker sneaking a peek at a game map during class. On the screen, he muttered, useless effort, dead end, better not go. Then his eyes lit up. Worth exploring. That's obviously the quest marker. Just then, Sonia noticed something ahead. As they drew closer, she gasped. It's an island. Wait, that's just like the place where you ran that dream trial with me. No wonder you're so confident. You've already used the void for trials. You really are some kind of mysterious powerhouse. Observer? Soon, they stepped onto the island. As their feet touched the ground, the mist around them began to clear. A middle-aged man dressed like an old Western cowboy stood before them, revolver in hand. In a cold, gravelly voice, he said, beyond 7 steps, my shot is fast. Within 7 steps, my shot is fast and true. In the next instant, the gun roared. Ash screamed, I got shot. It hurts. Wait, no, it's not that bad. Panting, he muttered, feels more like I just ran a 400-meter sprint. Huh? My body's fading out? Then his eyes widened as realization struck. I get it now. This isn't my real body. It's just my consciousness. Getting shot only drains my soul energy. The gunman muttered like reciting scripture. 3,000 arts, 1 gun in hand. Speed breaks all, pierces all. Sonia raised her sword and charged. She unleashed a wave slash. Suddenly, the end observer grabbed the gunman from behind. Sword Maiden, now strike. Sonia seized the opening, driving her blade clean through his skull. The gunman dissolved into mist. Both of them collapsed to the ground, exhausted. On the ground lay an old book, faintly glowing. What is this? The observer picked it up. Sonia's eyes widened. It's a legacy isle. That book, it's the gunman's very own caster's manual. Carbine Stoli must be the owner of this notebook, right? And this last page, this medal, was the spirit he obtained? Rapid fire, one-winged spirit. Requirement: must wield a ranged weapon. Active effect: after firing once, immediately perform a second shot. Passive effect: increases long-range accuracy. Sometimes, being a few seconds late means chasing it for the rest of your life. So this is a spirit. Wait, what's this pop-up? Detected valid currency. Convert to points. You can top up. There's a currency the system actually recognizes. Awesome. Let me just wait. This thing is the core of all transcendence in this world. The power every caster dreams of, a spirit core. Sword Maiden, you want this spirit? You do? Then take it. Seriously? It's a spirit. You sure you don't want it? It's neither a sword type nor a general type spirit. It's useless to me and would just waste my money. What's money got to do with this? Oh, come on, observer. Are you mocking me for being broke? You can sail the void and don't even know this? Or are you one of those rich types who never has to worry about feeding their spirits? Sonia sighed. Wow, never thought I'd meet a living example of this near-extinct species. Spirits need to be fed, and with actual money, one-winged spirits eat silver coins, two-winged spirits eat gold. If they're not fed, they fade away. Some poor casters literally starve their spirits to death. Sure, you can feed them materials instead, but each spirit needs something different. It's complicated as hell. Using money is just easier. Also, just having a spirit drains mental energy. A caster with too many spirits, Sonia smirked, is like a guy juggling too many girlfriends. Costs a fortune and wrecks your stamina. Got it. Spirits are money and sanity eaters. So quality over quantity, right? A true working-class caster's motto: fewer, stronger, better. Each spirit also comes with usage restrictions. Based on those, they're divided into different branches: sword-type spirits, gun-type spirits, body-type, fist-type, and so on. Those without strict requirements, or ones everyone can meet, are called general spirits. Like Eagle Eye. As long as you have eyes, you're good to go. Normally, a caster's loadout is a mix of specialized spirits and general spirits. But it's best not to specialize in more than 2 branches, and even general ones should be picked carefully. No freeloaders. Anyway, I'm not interested. This kind of outdated spirit, school buyback prices, what, 1 silver coin at most? Rapid fire was cool back in the flintlock era, but modern auto handguns can shoot 7 rounds a second. The end observer immediately traded the spirit in. Yes, top up successful. 6 points, 1 pull costs 1 crystal core. Need 3 source shards? Wait, 2 one-wing spirits for 1 gotcha pull. These are supposed to be transcendental powers. Why are they priced like fresh college grads? The observer frowned, holding up the notebook. All right, what is this book? That, Sonia said, almost speechless. That's a caster's manual. You seriously didn't know? It automatically records a caster's life. Kind of like a diary, but not by choice. The void writes it for you. When a caster dies, their soul automatically returns to the void, taking shape as a spectral projection of who they once were. Their life's memories then solidify into a book. Just like birth and death, it's an unavoidable law of nature. So that's how the caster's manual works, huh? Kind of different from the games I know. Sonia sighed. Just like metals, a caster's manual can be absorbed. If you do, you'll gain 1 random skill from its former owner, something that doesn't belong to any magic branch. The end observer casually held it out. Want to try? Sonia waved her hands frantically. No thanks. I got dizzy just reading 2 pages. Caster's manuals are corrosive, she explained. You can only absorb those aligned with your worldview, your values, your beliefs. Force the wrong one, and it'll shred your soul, or worse, split your mind. A normal caster might read 10 manuals and find only 2 or 3 they can safely absorb. Some go their whole lives without ever finding one that fits. But you, how the hell can you absorb every book you touch with zero corruption. The observer blinked innocently. Maybe I'm just open-minded? Sonia scoffed. Or maybe your moral baseline is really flexible. She sighed, then finally absorbed it. Skill acquired, counter-surveillance mastery. Just then, the island beneath them began to sink. That's the wonder of the void, Sonia murmured. Meetings are fleeting. Only knowledge endures. Countless legacy isles drift upon the sea of knowledge, quietly waiting for new casters to discover them. Once a legacy is claimed, the island returns to the depths. Every caster leaves their mark here, somewhere in this sea. We could meet gun casters from centuries ago, or sages from millennia past. And one day, another caster will break through the white fog and face the echoes we left behind. Before she could finish, a massive sea monster burst from below, flipping their small boat like a toy. The mudfish dragon roared, blasting a massive jet of water straight at them. WAH, why does it have a freaking water cannon? The end observer screamed. Forget that, move. Sonia shouted. You can control the boat, right? Boat's flipped. What am I supposed to control the ocean? Yet somehow, before the creature's stunned eyes, the small wooden boat powered up and bolted forward at full throttle. Yes, keep going that way, we can lose it. Using exploration mode to steer, they finally reached what looked like a safe zone. But trouble came again. After nearly an hour of pointless sailing, the two decided to head for the area marked better not go there on the map. And well, so, can't you just kill that mudfish dragon? Sonia asked. The observer deadpanned. If you couldn't, how the hell would I? So the almighty observer's weak, huh? Perfect. I'll make you pay for every bit of mental torment you've caused me. Wait, Sonia, calm down. Don't let petty revenge cloud your judgment. Think bigger picture. Even if he's weaker than I thought, Sonia murmured, I still can't fight back. His control over me, it's absolute. Even Professor Trollzen hasn't noticed him. That means his power, it's beyond comprehension. Everyone knows no one can pierce the void's mist. That's what makes all casters equal. Under the unknown, risk and reward balance, everyone the same. But now, someone who can see through the unknown exists. The strong can fall, the weak can rise. A being above all casters, the end observer. But if he's that powerful, why does he ask such dumbass questions? Sonia thought to herself, gotta watch out for him playing the weak victim card. If she fell for that, the observer would probably twist it into some new, cruel test just to mess with her. Just then, the end observer interrupted. Hey, that fish thing from before, what was it? Here it comes. Sonia panicked internally. He's testing me again. No way I'm giving him an opening. She quickly shifted to her cheerful model student tone. That was a mudfish dragon, one of the most common knowledge beasts in the void. It can drop spirits from the water or earth branches. And if it's ever killed another caster, it might even drop that caster's spirit too. The observer broke into a cold sweat. Why is the Sword Maiden suddenly so cooperative? Still, thanks to her sudden enthusiasm, he started to piece things together. In the void, there are only two intelligent species, casters and knowledge beasts. Defeating a knowledge beast grants the spirit it has condensed, a manifestation of pure knowledge. The type of spirit varies, but usually matches its magical branch. For example, when a caster in the real world invents a brand new theoretical framework, that discovery may spawn an entirely new type of spirit in the void. Other casters can then hunt knowledge beasts carrying that new patch update and instantly obtain the fresh spirit. And if that new system of knowledge is radical enough, it can even mutate the void itself, birthing new knowledge beasts and expanding the ecosystem of the unseen world. So basically, the observer said, no matter how tightly you guard your discoveries, other casters can still obtain them in the void? Exactly. Sonia nodded. No one can monopolize knowledge forever. That's the foundation of our equality, knowledge equality. Meaning, no one gets to retire peacefully, huh? Right. Because of both opportunity equality and knowledge equality, any caster who wants to keep what they have must keep taking risks, keep creating. So casters are basically lifetime employees. This whole system's just a cosmic KPI chart. Well, that's fine, the observer grinned. If casters are just workers, I feel right at home. When it comes to grinding and burnout, I'm undefeated. Sonia gave him a puzzled look. Why does he look so thrilled all of a sudden? Anyway, observer, can you scan what's inside the mist? Nope. I can only sense how dangerous it is, not what the danger actually is. Then you probably can't find a golden fish either. Golden fish? What's that? Here we go again, Sonia thought nervously. He's testing me. If I sass back, he'll say my loyalty's low and throw me into some nightmare-level trial. She answered carefully, the golden fish floats on the surface of the sea of knowledge. On its back rests the continent of time, the training realm of two-wing casters. No one's ever seen the fish's full form. They say even one of its smallest scales is the size of a metropolis, big enough to hold 1,000,000 people. The observer blinked. Wait, if it's that big, how the hell does everyone keep losing it? Sonia explained, quite the opposite. Only a handful of casters have ever found a golden fish, and every single one of them became a legendary caster. The observer tilted his head. So what happens if you do find it? You instantly ascend to a two-wing caster. What? That's insane. A straight level up? When a one-wing caster condenses their power to its limit, fully unfolding their silver wings, they can no longer gain spirit energy through ordinary sailing in the sea of knowledge. They must instead study, summon a two-winged spirit, and from within that spirit discover the gate of truth, which leads them to the void's second layer, the continent of time. Only on that continent can a caster absorb higher-tier energy and form their second spiritual pair of wings, the golden wings. The observer nodded. So one-wing casters form silver wings in the sea of knowledge. Two-wing casters form golden wings on the continent of time. Got it. Then, could a one-wing caster just borrow someone else's two-wing spirit to skip ahead? Absolutely not, Sonia said firmly. If you didn't summon the spirit yourself, you'll never find the gate of truth within it. Spirits are made of pure knowledge. If you don't understand it, you can't unlock its secrets. So finding the golden fish is basically cheating your way up. We prefer to call them stowaways, those who smuggle themselves from the lower realms to the higher. Can't find a golden fish? Then stop asking and just steer the damn boat. Did you find it? Nope. Another monster then? Also nope. Before long, they spotted another small island ahead. It wasn't dangerous. No traps, no tests. Only wild spirits playing freely in the breeze. Sonia's eyes sparkled. She couldn't resist and charged forward to catch one. Both of them lunged, each managing to grab just a single spirit. The rest scattered into the air, but the two they caught stopped struggling, almost as if admitting defeat, accepting new masters. Substitute. One-wing spirit restriction. User must be a sapient primate. Effect. Creates a perfect phantom copy of a chosen target. The clone shatters upon impact. If the target is a sentient being, it obeys the caster's commands. Torrent. One-wing spirit restriction. Must have unclaimed liquid nearby. Effect. Fires a high-pressure stream of water. Passive. Enhances control over surrounding fluids. So these are spirits, and one of them's a substitute. That's one of the core spirits needed for this slash-me miracle. Sonia immediately protested. I'm taking the Torrent one. That spirit sells for a fortune back at my academy. And with that, the two decided to wrap up their very first journey into the void. The end observer waved. See you later, Sword Maiden. Sonia smiled slyly. Perfect. Looks like in a void, he really can't read my thoughts anymore. Of course, she didn't say the whole truth. The Torrent spirit was rare, but the substitute spirit was priceless. The substitute spirit, being a general type spirit, is ranked one tier higher than specialized ones. Unless it's too niche, even a one-wing general spirit can sell for the same price as a two-wing specialized spirit. After all, specialized spirits only serve specific factions, while universal spirits work for everyone. When Sonia returned to the mysterious space, she noticed the end observer was gone. She called out on purpose, "Observer, I'm gonna take a shower, so you'd better look away." No answer. Huh, so he really left? Her temper flared. Seriously? I finally had my sweet bait ready, and you ran off after licking the sugar coating? Ugh, that observer is such a jerk. A soft voice came from behind. Good morning, Junior Sonia. It was Senior Celia. She smiled warmly. First dive into the void, huh? You look excited. Since both were apprentices under the Hidden Hand Sword Saint, Sonia couldn't avoid Phoenix. And that's how she met Celia. They were alike. Two women who do anything to climb higher. Hunters chasing the same prey. It was like setting a perfect trap for a rare beast, only to find a fully armed beast tamer already waiting beside it. so Celia's hostility was understandable. Still, she proudly summoned a spirit. Look, this is the inheritance spirit I found last night. What do you think, Junior? Scabbard. One-winged spirit. Restriction. Must use a sword-type weapon. Effect. When paired with another sword-type spirit. The first activation every 10 seconds gains plus 150% effectiveness. Sonia's eyes lit up. That's amazing. It fits me perfectly. The Scabbard spirit could even evolve into a new branch, the Assassination Swordmaster class. Combined with miracles like Sheathlight Resonance, Ready Stance, or Void-Piercing Slash, its burst potential was unmatched. Celia asked lightly, "Hey, do you think Phoenix would like something like this? If you say yes, then I'll trust your taste." She smiled and patted Sonia's shoulder. "Keep it up, okay? I heard your family's not well off. Getting into Sword Blossom University through national exams is no small feat. You're stronger than most of us born in Galaxy City. I'm sure one day you'll settle here and bring your family to live in the big city too. Sigh, you could have flown so much higher, you know? Such a shame your family keeps clipping your wings." Sonia smiled faintly. "You're right, senior. Sometimes where we start decides where we end. Girls like me, from poor towns, we can't really hide our rough edges. Look at me, chatting with you for so long without even washing my face. How rude of me." She summoned her torrent spirit, letting a stream of water wash over her cheeks. "Ah, that feels better, oh this?" Sonia grinned. "It's from my first adventure in the void. Lucky, right?" Celia froze, staring wide-eyed. There was no way this country girl had such a rare spirit. Sonia puffed up proudly. "Got it from an encounter island. A genuine torrent spirit." Celia's thoughts flared in disbelief. No way. Her first dive into the void, and she found an encounter island and a torrent spirit, one of the rarest water-type spirits? You gotta be kidding me. Bought it? Impossible. She's broke, and torrent spirits can't even be found on the market. Then someone must have gifted it to her. But who in Sword Blossom University could afford to give something that valuable away? While Celia spiraled in thought, Sonia stood up with her sword. "Senior, I gotta go. See you around." Just then, Phoenix appeared. "Hey, Celia, were you waiting for me?" "The void's a fascinating place," he said with a smile. "I'm heading to the library to read up on it. Want to come along?" "Sure thing, Junior," Celia said with a sweet smile. Meanwhile, at 8 a.m., Ash woke up, thinking he was the earliest prisoner to rise, and decided to treat himself to a nice breakfast. To his surprise, the inmates were already awake, stretching, and eating like they were on some kind of health retreat. That sight alone gave him yet another headache. Whoa, my first spirit is one of the core requirements for the Slash Me Miracle. Substitute. Let's try it out. Warning, unauthorized mana output detected. Action prohibited. Ugh. Right, the chip blocks me from channeling mana, which means to cast a miracle, I need to bypass the chip, but to bypass it, I need to cast a miracle to cleanse it. Damn it, it's a dead loop again. Sword Maiden Doryman, help me. But this time, the Sword Maiden didn't appear. Ash sighed. Figures. Even a paper waifu needs a day off. That's when Ash noticed an orc walking away with 5 meal trays. Huh, wait, why does he get 5? The cafeteria lady shrugged. Orcs always get 5. That's just how it is. What? Then there's none left for me. That's totally unfair. Warning. You are attempting to make a racially discriminatory statement. Such behavior is prohibited. In the Blood Moon Nation, racial equality is the first rule. What? Saying an orc eats too much counts as racism now? You gotta be kidding me. Finally, a free seat. He said, only to realize the orc had taken 2. The guy looked dangerous, but with the control chips in place, no one could actually get violent. Hey, you're taking 2 seats. Ash protested. The ogre glanced at him coldly. Ogres have privileges. You can't just beep, silenced again. So saying your butt's too big is racist too. He tried to curse, but the words stuck in his throat. Tried to slam his tray, but his arm froze midair. The rage boiled inside him, yet nothing would come out. He wanted to fight back, but his own body refused to obey. In that moment, he realized compared to this so-called civilized prison, the brutal dual society almost felt adorable. Ash wolfed down his breakfast and rushed straight to the dual society. Hey Ash, Ronar waved. You're early today. Had breakfast yet? Yeah, already did. Ash replied casually, then paused. Weird. Was his boyfriend always that skinny? Igura appeared from the shadows, his tone calm. No need to be tense. I've got no interest in challenging you to a death match. I never fight battles I can't win. I gamble, and I accept loss with grace. Ash shot back, voice sharp. You tactical types are all the same. Too dirty-minded for me to trust. Igura smirked. Then let's skip the boring prelude and go straight to humanity's oldest form of interaction. You answer one question, and I'll answer one in return. Ash frowned. I don't have anything to ask you. Really? Igura's smile widened. Don't you want to know why that elf, Valkas, challenged you? I'm not sure if you'll lie, but hey, we both take the same risk. Ash hesitated. All right, maybe I'm curious. But how do I know you won't lie? What's the point then? Igura folded his arms. I can tell when someone lies. Even if you did, I'd still piece out the truth. You try doing the same. Ash waved him off. Nah, I'm not that smart. You just trick me. Igura blinked, speechless. Fine, he sighed. Then I'll just tell you the info. You decide if it's worth it. If it is, you answer one question. Deal. Because he's an elf, Igura said plainly. He's the only inmate in Suehu prison who didn't attend his first blood moon judgment. 5 years inside, not once. Ash's brows furrowed. What? He skipped every trial? Because he's an elf? I thought the first rule of the Blood Moon Nation was equality among races. Igura chuckled. Oh, it is. But some races are a bit more equal than others. As for why he challenged you, that goes back to his crimes. Stealing patents and killing co-workers? Heavy crimes, sure, but not enough to land someone in Suehu prison. What truly enraged the higher-ups, he continued, was that he secretly raised a child. Wait, what? Raising a child is the worst crime? Because it's forbidden. No one's allowed to raise children privately. If no one raises them, then how did anyone grow up? We all grew up in state nurseries, Shirin replied sharply. Socialized upbringing is the foundation of the Blood Moon Nation. You asking this? Trying to start trouble? Socialized upbringing, meaning we were all raised by the state. So basically everyone's. Ash tried to say orphans without parents, but the words wouldn't come. He searched through Hythe's memories. There were no words for father or mother in his entire vocabulary. The only close term he found was guardian. There wasn't even a linguistic space for parents, which meant those roles simply didn't exist. A world with state-run nurseries and controlled chips at the back of the neck. Ash thought, what kind of twisted world is this? So you mean he challenged me because of that child? Igura nodded slowly. Valkas has kept his head down for 5 whole years. Never starts fights, just beats down anyone stupid enough to pick one with him. That alone keeps him living quite comfortably. So for him to suddenly step up this time, there's only one possible reason: the kid. That child's already been sent to a foster facility, surrounded by plenty of people. But there's only one person who could connect the dots between the child, Valkas, and Igura's eyes hardened. That person is Shirin Dahl. Shirin Dahl was a history professor at Kaimon University and the president of the Elf Rights Association. More importantly, he also served as the advisor for Kaimon University's Ancient Relics Research Society, the club most closely tied to Ash. Ash blinked in confusion. Wait, are you saying I used to be a member of that society? Igura replied calmly. To be precise, you're still its president. I've got no solid proof, but you and Shirin seem to share something beyond a normal teacher-student relationship. Ash's expression darkened. The cult of the 4 pillars. Yeah, that makes sense. To pull off a criminal group with mafia-level structure, someone had to be backing him. Shirin Dahl. He's probably one of the people supporting Hythe from the shadows. Igura leaned forward slightly. I've shown enough sincerity. Now it's your turn to answer me, though I already have a guess. How did you manage to deceive my heart voice? On the arena, Igura continued, I predict my opponent's movements by listening to their inner voice. It's a technique that's almost never failed me, because no one can lie to themselves. Wait, you can actually hear my thoughts? Ash blurted out, shocked. Igura gave an exasperated sigh. Only on the arena. I can catch the ripples of your emotions, the whispers of your mind. Hey, I wasn't trying to trick you, Ash said, shrugging. I didn't even know you had that kind of cheat skill. No wonder I couldn't land a single hit earlier. Then explain this, Igura said flatly. How could you think you look kind of good while punching me in the face? What? Saying you look good and wanting to punch you aren't mutually exclusive. Ash shot back. Normally, Igura replied coldly. I can hear a person's deepest desires. If you truly wanted to hit me, I should have heard I want to punch his face. Not he looks kind of good. Oh, I get it now, Ash said with a grin. I must have zoned out. Happens sometimes. I start daydreaming. Maybe checking out some spicy art to relax. So yeah, he added shamelessly. I genuinely thought you looked good. Then why the hell did you suddenly punch me? Igura snapped. Ash shrugged casually. Because the daydream ended and work mode kicked in. Spicy art slows down my grind speed, you know? Igura clenched his teeth. Impossible. The leader of the cult of the Four Pillars, a battle genius who grows stronger mid-fight, wouldn't just zone out. I must have misheard him. Even if you did zone out, he snapped, I can still hear your true inner voice. Ash smirked. Don't be so sure. Maybe your little abilities got some limits. Huh? I can read your facial temperature. Igura shot back coldly. I'll know when you're lying. He folded his arms. Say something, truth or lie. I can always tell which is which. Ash said calmly. The sentence I'm saying right now is a lie. Igura froze. Wait, if that's true, then it's a lie. But if it's false, that means it's true. So it's a lie? No, wait, it's true. No, damn it, then it's a lie again. His mind spun in circles as he groaned. Ugh, these logic puzzles. I've had too many of them in job interviews. Over on the other side, isn't that our elven lord? A servile orc bowed before him and offered the most precious blessing. Need me to lick your shoes? Thanks for your concern. You all talk so sweet. I bet you all wiped your mouths before leaving the washroom. Valkas, are you calling us shit-eaters? No, Valkas said, I was simply praising those who wipe their mouths after eating shit. Why are you jumping out like that? Did you eat shit too? The orc couldn't take it and snapped. Valkas, you bastard. Your tone's a bit much. There's a pea smell about you. Looks like your menu is pretty broad. Another orc cracked and started cursing as well. Hey, why so worked up? I wasn't cursing you. All right, when I threw out some trash, I heard a dog bark. Must have hit a dog. That line set every orc off in collective fury. Such a bizarre insult match only happens inside Lakebreak Prison. Mastering how to insult without profanity and how to push someone to irrationality so the chip mutes them. Those are the two essentials of prison trash talk. Try to swear, and the chip will automatically block your throat. Try to fight, and the chip will take direct control of your body. Valkas then looked at Ash and said, Ash Heiss, if there's no problem, shall we start? Igura interjected from behind. Valkas is much stronger than me. He's not someone you can beat with little tricks. Ash smiled faintly and said, thanks. I'm not planning to rely on tricks this time. Ash kept a calm face and said, I'll bet my life he can't kill me with his first strike. If the first strike doesn't finish me, the second one will be my chance. Valkas sneered, this cesspit is like that. Buzzing flies everywhere. Maggots don't turn into butterflies. Even a real butterfly in a cesspit is just a bigger fly. The next second, Ash didn't react at all and was pierced by a sword. So fast, even with a sword, he can't swing it away. He's too big. We must close the distance so his sword can't swing. Inch shorter, inch more danger. Valkas caught Ash's strike with ease and smirked sideways. Did you never learn the sword? Or do you just not know how to hold one? Before the words even faded, his short elbow smashed into Ash's ribs. No time to breathe. Another flash of steel came crashing in. Ash moved on instinct, flipping into a clean kip-up as the blade grazed past. A bystander gasped, no way. Stone flooring, and those blades aren't even sharpened. Is that a spirit? Valkas scoffed, what's with the shock? A sorcerer driving a spirit in battle is basic common sense. Some things can't be chained. Bind their hands and feet, and they'll still grow wings. That's the Elven Sword Miracle. Mountain Breaker slash? Valkas actually cast a miracle? How is that possible? Igura snapped. Don't just stand there, watch. Using a spirit and casting a miracle are two different systems. Every miracle is woven by composite spirits working in unison. The difficulty is so insane that casting at all is already a miracle. I've tried hundreds of times in this prison, never once succeeded. A voice hissed, Ash is done. He's aiming to kill. Forget a whole body. Good luck finding the meat in the rubble. The crowd erupted. How is he still alive? Even if that miracle was throttled down to 1/10 of its power, it should still kill a weakling who can't even hold a sword. Ash narrowed his eyes and muttered, wait, I think I can read his blade path now. The Sword Maiden's combat memory wasn't for show. At first, he couldn't even track Valkas's blade. Now he can predict the next swing from a twitch of the shoulder. At least the how to dodge part has sunk in. An orc blurted, "It's just like that death match with the beast woman yesterday. That bastard Ash. He's learning swordplay mid-fight." Igura snarled, "This is a prison, not a genius incubator. Damn it." Valkas said coldly, "You really think you have a chance against me?" Ash wiped the sweat from his brow, expression steady. "I just have a reason I can't afford to lose." Valkas raised a brow. "And what reason would that be?" Ash smiled faintly. "I want to know. Was it Shirin Dor who sent you to kill me? Was my imprisonment part of someone's plan?" Valkas didn't answer right away. "And what does that have to do with your need to win? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Even if I told you, could you tell if it's true?" Ash's voice was firm. "No, I couldn't. But I figure the answer I get after beating you will be closer to the truth than the one I'd get just by asking." Valkas burst into laughter, deep, mocking laughter that echoed through the cell block. "I haven't heard such a pure reason since the orphanage." He spread his arms theatrically, reciting as if to an unseen crowd. "Centuries from now, bards will sing on the streets. Ash Heiss, the man who had never learned the sword, defeated a proud elven swordsman and began his undefeated legend. Merciful Mr. Ash," Valkas bowed with feigned humility, "do me the honor of mentioning my name in your future memoir. Let Valkas live on forever as the fool in your legend, will you?" The next instant, a burst of sword light tore across the field. Blood splattered from Ash's cheek and leg. Valkas sneered, "You're slowing down. Your growth's impressive, but you're tired. You've been bleeding since the first exchange, and now your stamina's dropping fast. Your brain's losing oxygen. Your body's lagging. You know why I keep talking? Because the longer this goes, the more you bleed." He raised his sword, voice like cold steel. "Now, it's over, Mr. Ash." In the next heartbeat, blinding sword light exploded before Ash's eyes. The ground shattered under its weight. In that daze, Ash thought, "So this is the limit of my resolve." Then suddenly his eyes widened. Something ignited inside him. From somewhere distant, the Sword Maiden's voice echoed. "If it hurts, just pretend it's happening to someone else. Then it won't hurt anymore." Memories flashed through Ash's mind, and suddenly he understood her words. "If it hurts, just pretend it's happening to someone else. Then it won't hurt." Her voice echoed again in his head. "Knowledge can't be locked away. Even if you bind its hands and feet, it'll still grow wings and fly." Gripping his sword, Ash charged forward. Valkas thought the fight was already over. But the next instant, a shadow leapt into view. The gleam of the blade flashed before his widened eyes. Ash's sword pierced straight through his chest. Valkas froze. Disbelief etched across his face as he was cut down instantly. Silence filled the arena. Then came the announcement. Victory decided. Winner, Ash Heiss. But Ash, drained to his limit, collapsed the very next moment. When he opened his eyes again, the same woman was standing over him. "Don't move," she barked. "If you don't want your face ruined, keep your eyes shut." Ash instinctively touched his face. 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth. "Good, good, still all here." The woman sighed dramatically. "I'm healing you, and you dare doubt me?" Ash pointed at her, half joking, half serious. "Look me in the eyes. You didn't sneak in some cosmetic surgery, did you?" She hesitated, then murmured, "Well, it was just a tiny adjustment, only a little. Druidic forehead skin extension technique. Just smoothed out the wrinkles a bit." Then she straightened up, suddenly proud. "You should be thanking me. Do you have any idea how expensive that kind of druidic wrinkle removal spell is out there?" Ash pressed his palm to his brow and exploded. "What? You actually removed my most manly forehead wrinkle? A shameless medic ruins a patient while he sleeps and steals his best looks. Is there no law here? This is malpractice. This is murder for profit." He shoved out his hand, demanding compensation. The woman squeaked, "How much do you want?" She produced a single gold piece. "Will this gold coin do?" "I got no smaller change." Ash stared at the coin and wondered. So silver coins are treated like alms for beggars in this world? He muttered to himself, "Rye. There's a reason. Sword Maiden said spirits need feeding with coin. I've got no money, gotta scrounge from the low IQ crowd for spare cash." Ash then asked the woman, "By the way, tell me something. Is there anywhere in this prison that trades spirits? A lone man gets lonely. I'd like a pet." The woman went pale and shouted, "Ding, spirits. I'm reporting you. You're trying something. Escape attempt." Ash grabbed her by the shoulders, panicking. Whoa, wait. I'm already on death row. What are you gonna do? Give me extra charges? She yanked free and snapped. Don't touch me. I won't answer that. You death row types are medical fodder. When you're spent, you die. Ash gave her a pitiful look. If I told you I was innocent, would you believe me? She scoffed. Don't think I'm naive. Since memory evidence procedures started, wrongful convictions hardly happen. The Hunting Bureau must have pulled evidence from your memories to convict you. Ash climbed to his feet and protested. No, they didn't. The Hunting Bureau didn't take memory evidence from my mind. You can check the reports. There's no record. I really am innocent. The woman pondered a beat, then asked, eyes hard, you're not lying? Ash shrugged and forced a smile. Lying to you? I haven't even gotten overtime pay this life. Why would I lie? The woman went icy and spat a warning. You better not be lying. Pray you don't get hurt again. If you end up under my care, I'll see to it you're unrecognizable. I'll change everything about you. Race, gender, whatever it takes. The woman finally explained, even if you ask, I can't help. To trade a spirit, the seller must release the spirit with arcane power, and the buyer must reactivate it with arcane power. You death row inmates have your power restricted. You can't release spirits, and you can't reactivate them. Ash let out a disappointed sigh. So there's no deathmatch-style place to lift our restrictions? From what I saw last night, finding a specific spirit in a virtual realm would take forever. The woman said, there is a way to lift your restriction by taking part in the Blood Moon Judgment. When death row inmates join the Blood Moon Judgment, the prison temporarily lifts all of your limits. You can then drive spirits with arcane power. In theory, trading becomes possible, though in practice, almost no one pulls it off. She sneered. Why do I even need to explain that? You've seen the Blood Moon Judgment before, haven't you? Don't think I'm gullible. I won't fall for such childish lies. Who do you take me for? She turned to go, but Ash suddenly asked, that elf I dueled, did he survive? The woman looked puzzled. Why do you ask? You worried about him? He was less hurt than you. He left long ago. Ash shrugged, awkward. Saying worried sounds embarrassing, but I do care a little. After all, he was the first person I killed. The woman blinked, incredulous. Seriously? He was your first? Do you want him to die or not? Ash replied plainly, honestly, I don't hate him enough to want him dead. If I wanted to vent, I'd rather beat him with a giant geoduck-shaped cudgel and then ask my questions. So no, I don't want him actually dead. If he really dies, I'll probably just feel a little philosophical before bed. Life is like an ocean. Only those with the will to endure reach the far shore. So even if he dies, I won't care that much. The woman, softened a touch, admitted all right. I'm half convinced this really is your first time killing someone. She said coldly, that line won't win you favors anywhere. Put it in the case bulletin. Say your merciful and human rights groups will pity you. Say you purge and extremists will cheer. Your wishy-washy middle ground makes every faction despise you. Ash mused briefly, were there so many people who were that decisively extreme? Aren't most folks as indecisive as I am? Not long after, the woman returned to the lounge. She pushed the door open to find 2 rows of people in identical garb standing inside. In the center, a fish-headed orc knelt on the floor. A masked attendant bowed and reported, Miss, he peered at your healing rite. He attempted to steal Bloodweep Institute research without permission. That violates the constitutional principle, personal and collective property is sacred and inviolable. It's clearly a crime. The woman had no intention of killing the fishman. She replied flatly, I don't dislike him enough to want him dead, but if he dies, I won't lose sleep over it. Then she ordered, fetch a geoduck-shaped cudgel. Beat him until he's covered in welts. Don't treat his wounds, drive him out. He's a blue-scaled fishman, right? Finger sharks shouldn't finish him off. Toss him in the sea tonight and let him swim back. If you disagree, do it your way. I don't care. I'm gonna rest. The woman entered her private lounge and removed her hood. She was a girl with white hair and red eyes.